right. Hello, everybody. It's a podcast time. It's Thursday time. It's the end of the week. Grind to the end of the week, as Garrett says in his classic.
I'll say that
manner.
soon.
Do it. You do that.
I will.
I look forward to you saying that. Our Domino's pizza
Some of
is
your
ready.
voice makes you sound insincere, but I'm just gonna assume I'm reading.
No,
it wrong.
you're great. No, yeah. I like that you handle all that stuff. I'm not a good promoter. I get busy in my head.
Not a good promoter.
Where is this button? Nope, that's not it. Nope. Here it is. There's everybody.
Everyone, just take a look at Kyle's desktop.
Look at my desktop.
Was there anything you shouldn't have seen? Please tell us. Let me know if you saw his credit card info.
No, you would have seen I installed Cyberpunk last night. And
oh, did you?
I have.
It has kept me away from Starfield this past week and a half. I've been playing Cyberpunk as well.
And I have a saved sound file of DBZ I'll use as an intro for you at some point. But that is not this day.
Wonderful. I'm trying to figure out how to do mods because I want just Edge Runner clothes.
Oh,
in my game.
You're modding
but
your
I can't
Cyberpunk.
figure it's not as easy as other games I play on Steam that just let you install them through Steam. So I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah. Endy, if you've never tuned into the pre-show, this is it. We usually just kind of BS for a bit while we set up and say hi to the chat.
I was going to dive in and say I've also been playing Cyberpunk, strangely enough, and
nice.
I've been running into a lot of bugs.
Oh,
that's where I'm at with it.
It's
really
still
sad.
A little buggy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed about it, to be honest with you.
I'm still like noticing people phasing in and out. Cars just appear out of nowhere. I go to shoot somebody and they just literally like blip and then appear like 3 feet to the right. I'm like, I thought this game was fixed.
Yeah, but have you both seen the trailer for the Phantom Liberty expansion? The last line of the trailer is, "The game is fixed." I feel like I've been misled.
Oh, no.
I feel like I've been slightly misled.
Oh, no.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I've been playing Starfield and this, and when we talked about Starfield 2 weeks ago, we got all of the anti-Bethesda like angry people in the chat talking about how buggy it is and how Cyberpunk is better, and I've like legit I've played probably, I don't know, 10, 12 hours of Cyberpunk last week and a half. I've run into way more noticeable bugs that seem to negatively affect my gameplay than anything I've experienced in Starfield. So
yeah, I'm with you. It completely rips you out of the immersion, doesn't it? When all of a sudden the cars disappear and everyone's just driving around like this. It's like, okay.
The world is incredible. And because I played a little bit of it. I bought it when it was like on sale for like, I think, $15 for the Xbox. So I'm like, this seems like a fun couch game. $15. I'll give you $15. But now I have the latest, greatest, best of video cards. So I wanted to try it on PC. So I'm like, all right, it's on sale. I'll pick up a PC copy and get the expansion while I'm at it. And so I've seen a lot more of the world, and like, God, it's just so impressive. Like, it's one of the most impressive game worlds I've seen in a while. But yeah, it's still buggier than I was hoping it would be. That's how I would describe it. Yeah.
Let me get I think the last thing I need to do before we set everything live is I'll just get a little text window here made for if we get into lore. If we start loring for some reason, we can put up a little spoiler word or two.
Spoiler word or two?
You know, like
past?
Endwalker up to 83 kind of thing. Should we need it?
Oh, I have no doubt we'll be talking lore eventually.
Well, let's just call Endwalker intro spoilers, man. Okay. Oh, there you go, 82. We had a couple comments during our first few Endwalker videos that were like, why don't you just put the levels? And I'm like, that's utterly pointless considering there's like multiple level 81 zones and you can choose which one you go to. So that wouldn't actually help tell you what the video is about.
I mean, I do it because like in the past it was easier because it was more MMO-y in that way.
Well, once you get past the opening, then when you get to 82, it's useful. 81 is not useful.
No, because there's two choices. Yeah. All right, that is there. Should we need it in the future? Otherwise, I think we're good to begin. Are you good, Endy? Any questions?
I've got plenty, but I'll ask them in a moment.
Oh, that's lovely. Perfect.
Hell yeah. All right, let's do it. You ready, Kyle?
I'll press my button, then you press yours.
All right. Do you know roughly how long your clip is?
Let me see. 5 seconds?
All right, just do it. Just send it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Podcast time.
Oh, we're being made to feel again. I don't want to feel. Oh, we're being made to feel again. I don't want to feel. No.
It's time to grind through the end of the week. It's the Grinding Gear podcast, everybody. Hi, I'm Garrett. He's Kyle.
Hello.
You're not here for us. We're here today with a special, much requested guest. I hear he's been down a similar road as I have, going from World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy XIV, and maybe even a more similar road that both Kyle and I have been, because I hear there's a chance of some hot rain on today's program. But he also stuck with WoW even longer than I did. You should go catch a stream over twitch.tv/NDD20. Endy, welcome to the Grinding Gear podcast, dude.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you? Good morning. It's good evening where I'm at.
Yeah,
but
good evening.
morning
Yeah,
for you guys. We've maybe played some games that we've each played. Yeah, some Heroes of the Storm.
Would
some World
appear
of Warcraft.
we are friends that just haven't met yet.
Yeah, I fully agree. Kyle, do you mind just giving us a minute to have a moment? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant all three of us.
No, I'm only kidding. Kyle, get in here. Get in here, group hug, guys. Come
No,
on.
I left WoW a long time ago. I was the bad influence on Garrett. It's okay. You two take your time.
You
When
popped
did-
back
when
in
did you-
for a minute.
When did you give up, Kyle?
BFA end of the first raid. I was
Smart.
If I were to Facebook status your World of Warcraft, I'd say it's more complicated. Didn't you like quit after BC and then you didn't pick it back up until BFA?
Well, that was post college expense control for the most part, right? Like I missed Wrath of Lich King because I didn't have the money to maintain said sub. I was doing the GameStop thing where like they'd let you have a game for a month and then return it if you didn't like it, because I didn't like Dark Souls. I probably went a solid 6 months on that program. Oh yeah.
That was a thing.
And then there was GameFly, and like GameFly would give you a free disc every 2 months or so when they were trying to be Netflix of video games.
I mean, if we want to go down this memory road, I used to do the Blockbuster Netflix competitor, where you could get discs sent to you from Blockbuster, and if you returned the disc they mailed to you to a physical Blockbuster location, it was basically a free rental from that store.
Yeah.
So you could like double dip and get more stuff, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was so much cheaper than Netflix at the time if you actually took advantage of the free hand-in at the store. And then Netflix absolutely murdered my childhood by just taking Blockbuster out behind the shed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There was also a time period where you and I did like 4 podcasts a week or something like that. So obviously I didn't raid during that time period. And it wasn't until BFA I got super into it because I heard the call of PvP, and that we're going to talk about a little bit today. That Metzen cutscene, that Metzen Sylvanas up on the wall for the Horde, for the Alliance, Anduin crying at the sky kind of stuff. And I was like, hell yeah, we're doing it. We're doing war. War returns to World of Warcraft. So I was in for BFA. But I heard y'all
kind of like BFA. I don't like the Sylvanas stuff, but overall, I think it doesn't deserve as much crap as we fling at it sometimes.
Some of it is warranted. Some of it's certainly warranted. The borrowed power shenanigans. I don't know how you both feel about the borrowed power stuff. That they were
liked it in Legion. They never needed to do it again after that.
I fully agree. I think it was so perfectly done in Legion that I thought, okay, what's the next mechanic going to be? And then they kind of dropped the ball. But I was okay to look past that and continue on. But yeah, I wish I'd done the Kyle tactic and dipped out earlier.
Yeah.
I was part of a guild that needed 10 people to raid, and I was the 10th person. So it wasn't just quitting the game, it was letting down 9 people, and I couldn't do that. So I stuck around.
Yeah. I took my first very serious break after Wrath, and it was a lot easier because my raid team, like Ruby Sanctum dropped, and we were all like,
yeah,
we feel done. And we just like stopped raiding. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take a big old break from World of Warcraft. That was the first big break I ever took from the game. But yeah, no, I look back on Legion and the Artifact, and then going to the necklace and BFA as it's like that you started and they gave you a Ferrari, and then the next expansion came out and they gave you like a Razor scooter.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that you say that you quit at the end of Wrath for a break, because I did the exact same thing. Ruby Sanctum came out. I missed almost all of Cataclysm, and I think I hopped back in at the end. Just in time for Mist.
Same. I jumped in and Raid Finder was a thing, and I went and did the final raid, and I remember being actually kind of impressed with Cataclysm. I think I played a little bit at launch. I did because it was absolutely insane that they let you fly from the very beginning. Yeah. I don't like, I've been a big critic of Pathfinder since. I don't like how much work you have to do to fly now. Like, it drives me bananas. But a lot of people misunderstand me. I don't want flying at the very start of an expansion, because at the beginning of Cataclysm, you would, first of all, you really didn't get to kind of soak in the zones, but then also everyone was just dive bombing the quest mobs. Like, you would just see 50 people descend from the skies. It would, whatever you were trying to kill would instantly evaporate, and then they would take right back off. Yeah. And it was just not the most immersive experience. So, but by the end of Cataclysm, I came back and ended up really enjoying it. That final raid I still enjoy to this day.
So how deep did you go, Endy? When did you quit the WoW?
So Shadowlands had come out, and I figured that would be the last time I ever get the opportunity to do an all-nighter. So I thought, you know what? Today is the day I do it. Shadowlands launch. WoW is back. I stayed up all night, hit max level, logged out for the night, and I felt really good about the expansion. I'd skipped all of the quest text. I was a skipper. But I kind of got the gist of what was going on. You know, there were some things that were dead, and I was saving them. So I went to bed that night. I logged in the next day, and I started my Covenant. This is great. This is fantastic. A week later, the Covenants are kind of not great, actually, are they? And the raid's fun, but Covenants were kind of poo. Actually, it's all kind of not that great. And wait, content is taking months to produce? I think I'm done. So I went cold turkey then before I committed my raid group to having me around. So I dipped out then, and I said, guys, I might come back in a couple months. It's now been about 2 years. And I have
I stuck with it longer for some reason.
I dipped out during patch 1, first patch.
Okay, yeah.
We did Castle Nathria. We did it on Heroic, and I was relatively happy with the raid. I thought
that's
Castle
a good
Nathria
raid.
It was really good, actually.
I
Yeah,
will go to bat for Castle Nathria. That was a good raid. That's around the time I dipped out too. Then, I mean, I've taken multiple breaks from the game, but that was like my first big, like, I think I'm like done. I did go back and I hit max in Dragonflight. I think Dragonflight's a good expansion, but not a lot of my friends are playing, and I can't get my most important friend to play. So
those dungeons just
they were not great. Yeah, it did not put its best foot forward as far as dungeons. It was like, what if the first few dungeons were just the same zone you just spent time leveling in, and it didn't feel particularly special or unique to your experience?
I did think Thundarius the Invoker was pretty cool. You know, my dragonkin dude. That was neat.
Yeah. I at some point I'll probably go. Completely honest, now that ICC is in Wrath Classic, I kind of want to spin up a Wrath tune and go relive my glory days. That's what I want to do right now.
If you were to do that, what class would you play? The one that you played back then, or would you try and experience it through new eyes this time?
I would. It's like a coin flip. I would either 100% go prop pally again, which is what I did, or I would finally experience what it was like to tank on Death Knight back when they weren't forced to blood.
Yeah,
that's always. Launch Death Knight is the one that got away from me, because Death Knight and Arthas is like my favorite shit in Warcraft. I absolutely love all that kind of stuff, but I was already invested in the Paladin by the time I got there, and also like it was ready to go, and I had some friends luring me over to the Horde side, and they needed a tank really bad, and they were like, "We will get you geared if you come over here," and they made good on it.
And you were like, "Yeah, I'm there, guys. I'll be with you."
Yeah, I got geared up and thrown straight into Ulduar like 2 weeks after it was out, and I was having a great time. So I just never looked back. But after that, I tried Death Knight multiple times, and I just don't like blood tanking. A lot of people in our 14 streams have heard me talk about this, because I love Dark Knight in Final Fantasy 14, because I think for me to me there's a lot of similarities with Blood Death Knight over in World of Warcraft, but I think it's just more fun in basically like every way. And Blackest Night, so if anyone's listening because you like us but you don't play Final Fantasy 14, Blackest Night is an active mitigation skill for Dark Knight and Final Fantasy 14. I think is the single most fun mitigation skill I have ever experienced in an MMO playing a tank. It is so much fun. So
I am fully with you on that. Dark Knight, Dragoon, and Reaper are my favorite jobs in the game. And
what, Kyle? Sorry, it's Edgelord podcast now.
I'm just healer. I'm just healer, man. It's cool. You guys freak me out when you flip. It's okay. I'm there for you.
Sorry, Kyle.
Hell yeah.
But no, hitting that mitigation as a tank buster comes in, it just feels great. Like I like slow motion, just dive onto my key on the keyboard. I'm like, and that's gonna deal no damage at all, and it feels fantastic. So yeah, no, I'm with you because Death Knight was my class back in WoW. Death Knight and Rogue were my like go-tos, and much like yourself, I think for me when I was playing through Wrath of the Lich King, I was experiencing. At the time, I thought I was experiencing the pinnacle of MMO storytelling when Tyrannus Menethil ushers Arthas into the afterlife atop Icecrown Citadel. I thought, this is it. It's never going to get better than this. No MMO will come close to this moment. As a tear rolled down my face, I thought, this is it. And here we are, 15 years later, and I mean, if you couldn't tell by the clip which you both lovingly played earlier, I'm not ready to feel again. The tears have finally flown, and yeah, it puts a lot of things into perspective. The emotions I've felt over the course of playing this wonderful game.
So if that was 2 years ago, and pardon my stream archaeology on you, I think you started back in January, right? So you had like a year MMO free in there?
Yeah, so I started 14, I believe, end of June 2022, and it had probably been about 8 months. Yeah, 8 months between picking up 14 and dropping WoW. And I didn't really want to get into another MMO because I think when I gave up on WoW, I felt like I was at a point in my life where an MMO just didn't fit anymore. My wife and I just moved into our first home. We knew that in the future we were going to be expecting our first child, which is now on the way. I'll have you guys know. Next February.
Nice.
So I knew all of these puzzle pieces were slowly going to start falling into place, and I thought, I can't commit to a raid schedule. I can't commit to, borrowed power grinds like we've had in BFA and Legion. I don't know what's in Dragonflight. I've been pretty cold turkey on touching Dragonflight information. I thought, no, MMOs don't have a home in my life anymore. And it was early 2022. A lot of people in my chat had been playing 14 and had done for years. And they said, Endy, give it a go. I think you'll like it. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for another MMO, guys. Not yet. Give me some time. I need a break. Okay. And they said, no, it's different. There's story. And I thought, well, okay. Story. All right. I'll give it a shot. And I'd just recently been dipping my toes into the world of Final Fantasy as a whole because I'd never played them growing up. They'd sort of passed me by. So it was in 2020 I played my first Final Fantasy game, and that was the remake of 7 because I'm a big Souls fan. So I thought, oh, this kind of looks like action combat that I'd enjoy. And I did. I thought it was pretty good. Story's also not too bad as well. I'll check out the original. Fell in love with 7. Go on, take it away.
Completely in the dark about how all of the various Final Fantasy VII remakes work and why everyone's really excited for the next one and talking about it like I'm like, didn't the remake already come out? Like, how many of these things are there? Which one is an actual remake of actual 7? Because isn't one a sequel or something? Like, I'm so confused by it. And I'm like you, didn't grow up playing Final Fantasy.
I'm sort of in the same position, but I feel like I've asked questions recently after the latest trailer, so I'm a little bit more knowledgeable, hopefully. I think what they're doing is they've cut up the original game into 3 parts. They've piecemealed it, essentially.
Okay, so the whole thing is a remake of 7?
Sort of. So the remake, which came out in 2020, is like the first third of the game. And the one which is coming out next year is like the next third. And then it'll probably be another 5 years until the next one. So there's many reasons they're doing that, I imagine, but I agree with you. I feel like I need to whip out like an encyclopedia and ask someone who's much more knowledgeable than I to explain which one I need to play and in which order.
Yeah,
very,
we're
very silly.
soft planning to play the original before we ever even think about going to the remake, because I feel like a lot of the enjoyment is knowing what's different, and because I guess it's not a straight 1-to-1 retelling of the story. So we've been soft planning that. There's nothing on the books. There's no date, so nobody get excited.
It's too late. There's already like 20 people in your Discord who are very excited about your imminent FF7 playthrough.
Well, a PS1 showed up in my PO box this week, so
there you go.
Yeah,
you're bound.
Now I need to find a CRT.
Perfect. But no, played to the original, so I knew what I was getting into with Final Fantasy. Exquisite storytelling with fantastic music and characters that I'd love, and I thought, sure, I'll give it a go. And it wasn't until I don't get me wrong, I loved A Realm Reborn actually, and I do think it gets a little bit too much hate for what it was. But it wasn't until the end of 2.0 and the cutscenes that play just before the credits. So it's like A Realm Reborn, and then you get the little cutscenes that play. They're a little tease of what's to come. And I said, guys, these are the Ascians. What? They're sticking around? They're like, yeah, the story continues on. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is a new sensation for me. It's like coming from WoW, we go into the Dark Portal, we defeat Illidan, and now we're on a boat and we're going north. Oh, and Deathwings emerged, and there's pandas, and it's like nothing connects, and then A Realm Reborn into Heavensward, it's like, yeah, actually, if you've been paying attention, you're going to be rewarded for it. And it's at that moment I thought, okay, you've got me, I'm in. And from that moment forth, I'm taking notes and I'm like rewatching my own streams back. And I'm like, okay, so this character said this character said that. Oh, that might come up later. I'll make a note of that too. And it just completely grabbed my attention in a way that no game really ever has. And having like so many people in chat say, oh, you're in for a treat. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg, buddy. It gets real good. I'm like, yeah, I bet it does. We'll see about that. And lo and behold, it got pretty good. It got real good. So I'm wondering if you both had a very similar experience, because I know you started streaming it during Heavensward. Is that because you'd realized that there was a bit of magic in the air with the game and you thought, oh, this is a journey we'd like to share?
A little. It was just we were just building the plane while we flew it, to be completely honest. I've been trying to convince Kyle to try video first content for a while. We come from the land of podcasting. Kyle used to solo stream Here's the Storm. That was I've been wanting to do edited content on YouTube for a long time, and I like working with Kyle, and I've been trying to convince him to do something that was edited content on YouTube. And for roughly 2 years, he'd been trying to get me to play Final Fantasy XIV. To his credit, recommended it long before it was, I would say, the hip thing to recommend to people who were mad about World of Warcraft. And I was certainly mad about World of Warcraft. But he mentioned it before I was kind of off the Shadowlands train.
Happens.
And so, yeah, we were experimenting with like a gaming news format where we would kind of cover like one story a week, whatever the big story of the week was, we'd make a video about it. And one week, Kyle's like, want to do something Final Fantasy XIV related because there's a lot of people from World of Warcraft jumping ship heading over there. And there was a recent interview with Yoshi P. I don't even remember what the hell it was about at this point. All I know is I don't know. I'll make a thumbnail that says Yoshi P shots fired. That sounds fun. That I need a way to package it, and then I can get invested, and I can run away with like how are we making good on that thumbnail? I like to not lie in our headlines. And so like if Kyle is having trouble selling me on something, if he can come up with a package, he can usually win selling me on something.
Gotcha.
Or make me think I thought of the way to package it. I like to think he manipulates me sometimes, but
is this true, Kyle?
Oh,
is
absolutely.
This true?
Oh, you see my D&D books behind me? I use my manipulation for good. It's always for good.
Well played.
Yeah. So we did that, and then I enjoyed watching interviews with Yoshi P. I was like, I like the cut of this man's jib. He seems like a fun person, and I like I just like this attitude. And I was like, okay, maybe I should give 14 another try. Because I'd previously tried 14 and I fell off. I didn't like all the load screens. And I started in Gridania, which I have a lot of Gridania shade in my heart, and it's well documented.
It was going well. Our little budding relationship. I love Gridania. I started there as a Lancer. I'm only joking. I don't mind it. It's I do have a fond memory of starting there, though. I think because it was reminiscent of where I started Warcraft as a Night Elf. The trees. It was my home.
I'm the other way. I started as a Night Elf, and I'm like, this is the most boring looking forest I've ever been in. It's like
oh goodness.
It's like
I was a troll, so I had Durotar, man. I could look at anything.
Oh yeah,
anything would be more thrilling than that.
I mean, I like the red color palette, but that's about it.
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna get over that pretty fast. Ooh, a thunder lizard in a canyon. This is a thrill.
Yeah, I probably could have gotten past the kind of what I see as a pretty standard forest if the city was a little more. The city's so flat. And when I restarted, I did Limsa first, and I was like, "Holy shit, the city's amazing!" Also, everyone there is horny, but which was amusing and let me kind of know about the other side of the Final Fantasy XIV community.
Yeah,
there was like a bard in Gridania, and I was like, I thought people were playing this game. So there were a lot of things that kind of turned me off the first time I played. So anyway, I'm like, fine, I'll give it another shot. And then Kyle's like, what if we made some videos about our playthrough? And I'm like, no one gives a shit about other people playing the story mode of a video game. Oh boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started uploading Realm Reborn videos, and yeah, I think to a certain degree we weren't streaming because I didn't think I was going to stick with it. Like that's my character's name is Tuna No Crust, which is a really dumb Fast and the Furious reference. It's because I didn't think I was going to care. Now I love my character and I will never rename him. But like the whole thing was kind of like a throwaway, like whatever. I'm just going to jump in, disrespect the game, and see if I enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know. I did start enjoying it. I think Realm Reborn is difficult to sell to a lot of people. A lot of my friends, I feel like, don't have the patience for anything that's a slow start. And if you're that type of person, Realm Reborn is going to be tough. But I'm with you. I don't going Reborn is inherently bad, but I do think it is objectively slow. And so if you're the type of person that doesn't like a slow burn, that it's going to be tough to get through.
Well, work me through your journey, Endy, because were you streaming World of Warcraft? Were you already streaming?
I was streaming, yeah. Like the whole streaming thing, I'd kind of fallen into it accidentally because I'm a videographer by trade, and I was doing a lot of videographer stuff right back in 2019, and I realized I'm quite lonely. You know, I'm at home all the time editing video, and how can I get out there and socialize and meet people who play games that I play? I'll stream some games. So 2019, streaming games, having a good time. 2020, it's looking really good for my business, and then pandemic hits, and it's like, oh, okay, well, still got Twitch to fall back on, and by the end of the year, I was a Twitch partner, very fortunately, just streaming games that I enjoyed. And I never wanted to stream an MMO, because for me, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but they're home in a way. They're very cozy and like comfortable for me. And I like to be able to just sort of sink into my chair in the evening with a coffee and just like run around Dalaran like a million times. That's what we all did, right?
I get
when you
that.
couldn't find anything else to do.
Yeah.
Or go and camp the time on Spore Drake.
I remember when I learned how to turn my flying mount upside down and do upside down
yeah. And then you'd stand somewhere near like a Hearthstone area. So people go, hey, why is your mount upside down? And then you get the joy of going, well, can't tell you.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, page up and page down?
And then you watch as other people slowly begin to spin. Yeah, no, I got you. But no, I that's the reason I never thought I'd play an MMO, is because they were just a game that I could relax with.
Totally.
And I didn't want to conflate relaxation with job, because there is definitely like a fine line there between a game that you can play for relaxation, maybe that's Cyberpunk to the both of you at the minute, where you can just immerse yourself in Night City, and a game that I want to play in front of an audience.
You need that U space, like
100%.
I would never
100%.
ever want to play. I love Darkest Dungeon, one of my favorite games of all time. I don't want anybody ever saying, "Oh, that run, that's unoptimized." Like that'd be it. That'd be the end. I can handle it in like Dark Souls, because that's the That's what you do. Is you say
Yeah.
everyone else does cheese but you. That is
Yeah,
how
yeah.
it goes.
Yeah,
That
that's like Civ or any type of park builder for me. Like I can't.
yeah.
I wouldn't want, unless people want to watch me not talk, sit in a robe and listen to music that would get the video demonetized. I don't want to stream that.
You're really undercharging for ice cream there, Garrett.
Yeah, just go through, just stream my whole Jurassic World Evolution playthrough. Just Garrett, I can't believe what you're charging for t-shirts. It's really, you really need to min-max this.
Don't backseat me. So okay, so no MMO. So what were you streaming?
Just a bit of everything, to be honest. A lot of story-driven experiences, which is why I think people recommended 14 to me. I found that playing through a narrative game with like a really solid story sort of invited good conversation in chats and allowing people to sort of experience these games again through fresh eyes, I think is a big sell to a lot of people. And I never did it with like a business mind to it. I just thought, well, people enjoy it, I'll keep doing them. So I played through the original FF games, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 is my favorite. I highly recommend it. Fantastic game. And I think that was what convinced me to then give 14 a go, was that people were saying, oh, it's an MMO, but it's an RPG first. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Okay, I'll give it a go. And I had actually played it before, like a couple years prior to that, but I'd skipped every bit of cutscene up until the end of A Realm Reborn. And I thought, why am I somewhere that's full of snow now? And I never picked it up again. I think I went and like lived in the Gold Saucer, and then I just never played that account again. So I had no idea what was going on in the story by the time I got around to playing it again. And yeah, while I can probably relate to your friends, Garrett, that don't enjoy the slow start, because that's what put me off originally about 14, was that I was waiting for like the big explosive thing to happen that was going to grab my attention. And it's very much a slow burn to get to that point. But looking back at it with hindsight now, like there's so much world building and they do such a great job at laying the foundation of the world that I can't help but not look back on A Realm Reborn now with absolute fondness. Especially now that the slow parts are long behind me and I don't have to remind myself of how long it took me to finally fight Titan after collecting all that wine and cheese for the party they wanted.
Oh, I get that. And I think of the crates, like with the Ilberd stuff. I was just like, I am so bored.
Oh, Ivy, the Ivy storyline in the patches there.
Was it the Ivy? I thought it was the Crystal Braves, when you start to notice, when you start to piece together that there's something not on the up and up happening with the Crystal Braves. You're like just going around clicking on crates, and I was just like, oh boy, this is a new level
this is the one, yeah.
So what was that experience like? Because you started streaming like your load up of Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. I'd originally floated it as like, guys, I'm going to do it every Friday. So I'd kind of, inadvertently never watched you guys before. I don't know if you were actually uploading the videos at the time, but I was like, I'll do it every Friday. Because I saw it as like a little treat at the end of the week to dip into an MMO. And then I streamed it that Friday. Monday came around, and I sat here ready to play, I think I was doing like a Pokemon Nuzlocke thing. And I thought, I don't want to do this. I want to play more Final Fantasy 14, I think. So I booted it up. And the rest is history. I kept playing it every day for the past year. And it was just a wild adventure. And when people said, oh, it gets better, you think to yourself, yeah, I bet it does, bucko. Lo and behold, it consistently kept getting better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you're both aware, maybe someone's mentioned it in your Discord about my corkboarding shenanigans. That was a method through which I was trying to sort of show people my love of the game by creating these theory boards so people who are new to the stream can go, he is paying attention. Interesting.
Oh, so it wasn't a real corkboard, it was those pre-written like prediction descriptions you would show.
Sort of. I think I've set this up correctly. So if I move here,
Okay.
this is an example.
Okay, so it's a graphic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a graphic, yes. So if I slightly enlarge it, there it is. It's essentially a corkboard, and I would put pictures on them, and then attach notes to the pictures, and then I'd expand it out. So eventually, it would have loads of notes and theories of where I think the story's going to go.
Nice.
I don't want to show any other ones because I've got a lot of Shadowbringers and Endwalker theory cards, but I don't want to impact your own theory crafting, so I don't want to show them off. But it's essentially those boards, little pictures of certain plot points, and then like little text boxes that would be like, I think this is going to happen.
That's a good idea.
And that was it.
Yeah,
because a lot of people would join in and say, oh, how are you finding the game? And being able to go, well, here's my thoughts in pictures. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's my theories for what the future holds. And I think that immediately tells people, this guy likes the game. He's paying attention. I can gel with this. And in a way, I originally made it because it was a meme. The Charlie Day, like with this corkboard behind him with all the red string. That's why I did it, because I thought, oh, it's a bit of fun. People will laugh. But it ended up becoming something which I used as a bit of a encyclopedia for myself, because I'd be like, who was that guy from the end of A Realm Reborn? Let me just go look through my corkboard cards, and I'd find it, and I'd be like, oh yeah, he said that, and oh, that ties into what Orshafan said. Interesting. And then that's how the theories would slowly develop.
We go digging back through our past. Like, I will record. Kyle runs the stream, so it's got our video and notifications and stuff. And then I record cutscenes on my end with just the game, like nothing, only getting game audio and only getting the game as a visual. There's nothing obscuring it, and so that's how we get essentially the B-roll for the videos that we make. And I'm doing that live while we're streaming. I'm running like OBS in the background but doing it locally instead of streaming. And so we'll go through. We have terabytes of Final Fantasy 14 clips on a shared Dropbox that we just dive into, and it's organized by patch and expansion.
Nice.
So we'll be like, oh, when did Minfilia give us the PowerPoint presentation on what happens when you die? And we've gone back to that damn well seven times.
That's a really good idea, because that's something we get to avoid with what we do, making the videos, but it's also something that can butt heads with the live stream, because we'll be sitting there just, like smiling, enjoy. You're joining us for a live filming of our eventual video. And we'll just like smile through like a, Emmett snap or something like that. And we're just sitting there like, having a great time. And people are like, they didn't see it. They didn't comment. So, well, no, we're going to do a video later where we'll comment, but this is just enjoying the game. But you do have to, to have that moment to be like, I have recognized that the character said the thing in the room, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
We've been doing a little more live cooking as a result of that.
Yeah.
It's the hard thing about doing it live is if you make one mistake, like if you incorrectly remember a line of dialogue, you're going to have like 50 people like, well, actually, it wasn't them.
Happen.
It was this fella. And it can get a bit overwhelming, which is why I like to do it in my own time, because then I get to sort of show them all off. And then that's sort of the end of the conversation without necessarily allowing spoilers potentially to slip through the cracks. I did just scan through my little corkboard folder, and I have found one which is dating back to Stormblood, of a theory for Shadowbringers, which I'll show off.
Share away,
Move over here.
Let's see this.
So this is a theory from back in A Realm Reborn, when we leave Grahar and the Crystal Tower. He says, the tower may only be used once men rival Allagans in knowledge. I will slumber until then to greet those with the means to open the gates. Then I will guide them, and thus will the tower shine forth as a beacon of hope, as it was meant to be. It is the only way to make the wishes of the ancients come true. And again, this is way before we get any of the patch quests in Stormblood, but I thought, I'm assuming the gates will allow us to hop between reflections of the source. I also assume the ancients he mentions are the Allagans of old, who maybe knew about the source and its many reflections. And obviously, this is way before we know we can do that. And it's the one, like my biggest guess, my biggest theory win, as it were. But I think that made people go, this guy is really paying attention to the game.
Nice.
Because when we eventually then, use the Crystal Tower and we open the gate and off we go, people were like, damn, you called that, back in like Heavensward Stormblood era. And I'm like, did I? Like, I'm confused. I'm like, did I? I don't remember saying that. And then they go, it's here in the VOD. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. Okay, cool. But for every one I get right, I get like another 10 wrong. So, it's sort of throwing loads of darts at the board and maybe one will land in a bullseye. But I think as time went on and realizing that paying attention to little contextual clues like that rewards you, that's when I really went a bit overboard with it and would, take my time to go, okay, X person said this, Y person said that. Will it come together in some way? It was a lot of work, but I knew that I was experiencing a really special game, and I kind of wanted to do it justice because I knew there was a lot of people who were, again, experiencing the game experiencing the game fresh through my eyes for my first time. And I wanted to do them justice in my own playthrough by committing myself to it. And yeah, I'd love to show the rest of my cork boards, but some of them do get on the Endwalker stuff, and I don't want to muddy the waters for your own theory crafting. Speaking of theories, though, somebody in my chat earlier said something about Xenos eating a moon. And I mean, I just want to go into that a little bit, if you don't mind, and how this came about, because what in the game did you read that made you go, I know what you're going to eat, Mr. Xenos? And it's that celestial object up there.
Kyle was under the influence of a controlled substance, and that controlled substance is called Jesse Cox at the time.
I see. Okay, yeah. Understood.
Yeah. Kyle, it's so ridiculous. I've never treated it as a serious question, but I assumed you didn't mean Xenos would quite literally eat the moon like a cookie.
No, he's going to absorb it in some regard, was the theory. But, oh man, should I even get this? I'm going to, Okay.
Go on, live cooking.
No, it's not really cooking in that direction. However, there is a tabletop RPG coming up of Final Fantasy XIV. And I have one of my favorite side quests, and I include in all the D&D campaigns I ever make. It's this completely, let's say, inept cult called the Order of the Broken Moon. And their goal is they believe the moon is an egg that has a god inside. I came up with this when I was a teenager. And they have essentially launch pads where they shoot obelisks at the moon to break it open. But it never works. So in nearby towns, obelisks will start crashing into the ground. Everyone's like, what the hell's going on? What's this Order of the Broken Moon trying to blow up the moon? Mm-hmm. So if I make that tabletop RPG game in Final Fantasy XIV, guess what you're facing, Garrett? You're facing Black Mask Asians who are shooting obelisks at the moon to try to break it open.
Okay. All right, cool. Kyle, if you were to open up a video clip from our Dropbox right now, would we both be able to hear it?
No, I'd have to get that all loaded, and it would start auto-playing.
Damn, never mind. Because we do. I don't know if you know this, but I did clip your moon rant with Jesse, so we do have a short clip version on the Dropbox. But if it's not easy to route, then so be it.
Yes, no, that's not readily available. But
shame.
Yeah, some sort of moon absorption is my big pet project. I mean, we're in 82 quests. It's gotten so messy really quick. Like the game has always moved faster than it should, and in particular for me, I think Garrett's still questioning the validity of my great disturbance in the Force. But we just hit the cutscene where Fandaniel's voice changed seemingly permanently, and I'm just like, this is all going terribly wrong.
It's in moments like that you like the magic of the game really comes out, because from that moment you can think, does it mean this? Does it mean that? What does it mean for the future of what he's trying to do? I've got to be careful what I say. And it's like, it's in those moments that cooking and corking, as I call it, I think really comes out, right? And you're able to really concoct some strange ideas. I will say, when I heard about the Xenos eating the moon, I don't know why, I imagined him with like a knife and a fork and a napkin, just slowly over millennia making his way through it.
Yeah.
I could see it. But no, absorption. I like that.
Yeah.
That floats. Yeah.
No, it's, I mean, and like, to that, the fun of the cooking is always, while the audience knows so much more than you do, there's no way they can predict these threads, such as some sort of clown man in a theater in the top of the Crystal Tower becoming really important. Like, really? That's that in a World of Warcraft kind of world. It's just like it's a pluck. It's like, ooh, this thread needs pulling, and you cause 7 knots when you pull that thread because you tightened all the other loops that it was all going around.
See, if this were Warcraft, he would have said the Crystal Tower was merely a setback, and we'd all be like, "Oh, this is understandable. Well, I can see that now." But no, I'm with you. I'm fully with you on that, because that was a shocker.
It's been an interesting week in that headspace, because in the news we have Metzen returned to WoW full time, and I know many people are making their exes posts, I kind of call it, these breakup posts. Like they already hate their ex and they're going to repost about their ex and being mad at them. And that's going to happen regardless. Like, that's all over the internet right now. But I will always find it a fascinating conversation and mental experiment to try to put the lightning back in the bottle. And there's so much you can't rewind. You can't rewind the internet. You can't rewind metas. You can't. The game worked in 2004 and it was incredible and it was amazing. It blew our minds that was a real person over there. You can't replicate that. But, it has got me thinking about, what is it about WoW that was so enticing? And people often say, and Garrett, you're very much in this boat, oh, well, we were just soldiers, or vanilla was an adventure, not a story. Where does your mind kind of go with all the Metzen returning news, Endy?
First of all, I think it is a good step in the right direction. Metzen coming back. I would be even more happy if Bobby Kotick suddenly just left and exited stage left. That'd be brilliant.
That's a whole lot like my take when the news broke and we were streaming. I'm like, that's good. Still let me know when Kotick is out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But no, I'm hoping that this is, again, first step of many toward something with, and I mentioned this recently when I'm talking about Final Fantasy XIV, but the game has a soul to it, I suppose. Like, there's a charm, there's a whimsical something to the game that is enticing. And I feel like that something has been missing from not just WoW, but a lot of Blizzard projects. I'm also a big Diablo enjoyer. I played Diablo 4 for a little bit, and it just felt like it had something missing. And I'm hoping that under Metzen, maybe a little glimmer of that something will begin to emerge in the game again. And will it happen? Is he a miracle worker? I don't think he's necessarily a miracle worker, but hopefully people working under him, because I've seen from videos, over the past 15, 20 years, just how much passion he has for these worlds, that will light something within the dev team and make them create something which I don't even know what I want WoW to look like. I don't know what they're going to create. And that's the hard part, right? Talking earlier about getting into Final Fantasy XIV, despite thinking that my relationship with MMOs was over. If WoW from 2004 were to come out now, would I enjoy it? No, I don't think so. I think we were all in a different place in our lives, and the combination of that, coupled with the game world, coupled with the zeitgeist, the absolute cultural monolith that it became. Like, how many subscribers did it have? I think in vanilla it was like 6 million, and it peaked at 12 in Wrath, I want to say. Like, this millions
around that. Did they hit 6 mil in vanilla?
I feel like it was 5.
It was a lot.
6 is probably where I'm about. I don't know if anyone has a more accurate number, but I mentioned this actually on my stream of the day. It comes down to the fact that I'd never really been in a world like that before. I'd played other MMOs like EverQuest, Dark Age of Camelot, but walking into Stormwind for the first time, I was an Alliance player. I know, Kyle, you started as a troll, so Orgrimmar for yourself. It was magical, and I'm sure it was just as magical over there in Orgrimmar. But I'd never felt that in a game before, and it was learning and adapting to this new way of playing games, essentially. And I think you mentioned it a minute ago. The meta has been figured out. I don't know if you both dove headfirst into Wrath Classic back in not Wrath Classic, WoW Classic back in 2020.
Yes. Yeah,
it came out?
I was streaming it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the leveling process, and then at Endgame, it's you need to get your world buff, have this potion, that potion, this enchant. You got to have everything perfectly optimized. When I raided Molten Core back in Vanilla WoW, I was wearing a Zul'Farrak intelligence chess piece as a rogue. I was so unoptimized, but that was part of the magic, right? Was going in there. We all looked like traffic lights, colors across the rainbow, and someone's pulled a core hound. Oh no, we've got to kill that core hound, or it's going to reignite the rest of them. Like it was magical because we'd not experienced anything like that before. But it's all been figured out now, and that sense of mystery, that allure is gone. And I went cold turkey on WoW Classic because I didn't want to tarnish my memory of the game.
I feel that way about Secrets of the Ooze, the Ninja Turtles movie.
What?
I never want to see it again. I love that movie, but every time I fire it up, I'm like, oh, let it live. Just let it live in my memories.
I've watched it in the last 10 years. I love it. Those costumes still look sick. I love Super Shredder at the end. Just in my vein. The first one holds up better, in my opinion.
Yes,
I think the first one is a legitimately good movie that still stands the test of time.
It's
the
a decent
second one,
drama.
I think the second one is a fun nostalgia revisit. I'm not going to go to bed, and then just don't watch the third one.
It's fascinating because I had the
Weird
same experience
connection,
with Dota. I just don't want anyone telling me what items to buy. If I need 100 health, I want to go get a gauntlet of strength. I don't want to have to broke my build and have this whole fiasco tied to it. No, it's a fascinating experiment.
I really like vanilla. I really like WoW Classic. But everyone's different, right? Like I played in vanilla, I didn't raid in vanilla, and so when I got near the end of Classic, I'm like, I don't want to freaking join a group of 39 other people. That is just too many people for anything, at all. You should never have to coordinate that many people to try and do something. And so I'm just like, I'd happily get invested in an altered WoW Classic where it's basically the same, but I can just run a raid with 10 people.
I'm with you.
Well,
that's the hope though, isn't it? That might be something on the cards, like a WoW Classic Plus,
yes,
altered?
sort of. Yeah, I mean that's what they're still hunting down, and is all the illegal private servers that are modified, right?
No, and like you were saying, with the world buffs, I felt like I was getting away with something back then. I was being sneaky, going and getting that potion or that thing, and we're standing in Orgrimmar waiting for someone else to kill. What was it? Blackwing or Anexia, so we all got the buff, so we could go
the head buff.
Yeah. And so you oh man, I'm cheating this game, and that's how Dark Souls feels. Very isolated in my own home. When I do a little plunging attack off of 2 steps for that bonus, I'm like, I got you. And Final Fantasy, by nature of its MMO story quests, spoiler protection, kind of has that mysticism to it still. Because when you turn to the audience, you have a lot of people, tons of people that just play the MSQ, just watch the MSQ, and you'll turn to the audience and be like, hey, what sort of things should I be getting piety? What gems should I put in these slots? And 90% of people will be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so you feel like it doesn't matter, that you're up against the world again.
Well, on the topic of that mystery as well, I think you guys are doing something rather similar to me in experiencing extremes totally blind. Is that the case? Yeah, yes. I've been dabbling in a bit of that. I've done a couple.
Not to toot our own horns, but are you doing it with min-eye level?
A min-eye level. Every dungeon, every raid,
nice.
Every trial.
Delightful.
Nice. And when I started doing that, and I don't know if you guys ran into similar comments, people are like, yeah, you're showboating. It's not showboating. It's I want to experience the content as it was on release.
We have, or if we have, I haven't seen them.
Just me then.
No, I feel like, are you just too good? Because we take 4 hours and we die 62 times.
Well, I'm attempting the latest EX, which obviously I can't name, but I'm attempting the latest EX, which is
Alphino dies in this one. Is that the name of the extreme?
Name of the.
It's actually known as Alphino's chest cavity. Is the name.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow,
we
I
get
can't
shrunk
believe
down to Ant-Man level, and we're just playing in his
I
heart.
hate the Incredible Journey. That's my least favorite.
Yeah, I've seen that. I see that conversation go around every once in a while. I haven't seen it recently. We're in the doldrums of the expansion. Popular talk right now, but I feel like a year ago I was seeing posts from other content creators saying like, I don't know, Kyle, wasn't there a meme that went around that's like, here's the cycle of Final Fantasy 14 content creation, which is like everyone loves you until you start doing hard content because you can actually put a group together. And we've never experienced that, but we also haven't moved past extremes. So no.
I attempted my first Savage the other day.
How'd that go?
I don't know if either of you attempted the Savage before I dive into it.
We went into Titan and Eden and got destroyed instantly, and we're like, okay. A taste of things to come someday.
I did the first Savage fight of Endwalker, and it was it was sort of just around the extreme level of difficulty, I would say. I think they've done a very good job at sort of staggering difficulty. So the first fight is going to be a little bit easier than the second, and the third, and the fourth. And it was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. And I think learning them totally blind, part of the reason I do it, and I don't know if you guys do it as well, it's twofold, really. One, the whole mysticism of sort of like getting to experience something without having it figured out for me. There's no need to go get a world buff. It's just, okay, I'm going to stand where I'm not going to get hit, and I'm going to hopefully deal a lot of damage. And it's partly that, but then also there's a lot of conversation at the minute in the FF14 space about content available to different demographics, to casual players, to hardcore. And I thought, well, I'm a new player to the Endgame. I'll try and do them blind and hopefully alleviate some of that fear that maybe some people have in stepping into hard content. I've probably sunk 8 hours into the latest extreme, died over 200 times, but we're having a good time with it. It's good fun. It's much like yourself, the whole Dark Souls thing, right? I love being able to throw my body at a boss until one time I get to live and they're dead. That feels great. That's amazing. But it's an absolute blast learning the fights. And I think the way they telegraph attacks and how you've got these symbols which are like, yep, I know what I need to do for that. That symbol means I need to stand here. That symbol means I need to stand there. Makes it so fun to learn completely blind. Like I never feel like I need to go and Google a YouTube guide. Like, how do I defeat this boss? I can just sort of experience it and you can kind of figure it out. And that's a blast. I think you guys did Diamond Weapon. Was it? How did that go? Because I've not done that one myself.
It was one of our higher death extremes.
Oh, lovely.
There's the what's popularly referred to as the limit cut. It's not what it's actually called in the fight, but there's a limit cut in there. And I guess we saw one in Alexander. I don't remember Alexander. We did it, but I don't remember individual mechanics. And good Lord, there's so many bosses in Alexander. And yeah, we were just getting absolutely decimated. And it took us forever to get through it. We have a house rule that once we get past something we ask if there's a better way to do it. That's our house rule. And that's how we kind of clean up our progressions and hopefully actually get through an extreme in a single sitting. And so we got through it. It was dirty, but we got through it. And then we were like, all right, how do you actually do this shit, y'all? and we're not doing it correct. The way we did it, basically only 2 people died. And we're like, acceptable losses.
That's not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah. So we were close. We were really close. And that's probably the only time I've like feel like I needed a guide on that one. I don't think I would have ever, like, you could have sat me alone for a month. I don't think I ever would have come up with the correct strategy to tackle that one. But other than that, we more or less have figured them out on our own. And like 2, it's like, I really like theorizing with Kyle, whether it's about stories or how to actually do a mechanic. And so this is just cooking on in a different direction as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
It's a very fun miniatures game in that way.
Yeah, because I think for the longest time I tried to get Kyle to do WoW content and I couldn't convince him. And now he owes me after Final Fantasy 14, so he better get his ass over to Wrath of the Lich King Classic.
There you go.
But really, it's like there was a reason for it because I think we both realized that we have a deep love of just dungeons, like dungeon content in any game. But a lot of it stems from Blizzard games, essentially. You know, your World of Warcrafts and your Diablos. Kyle, you're a huge D2 fan, and you know that also has pretty famous dungeons, albeit very different from what you typically would expect from an MMO. So yeah, like one of the earliest thoughts we ever had for a video around Final Fantasy 14, we were like, oh shit, let's rank dungeons, because then if we ever because even if we don't stick with Final Fantasy 14, that's something we can do in other games. We haven't yet, because we haven't been playing other games with dungeons.
So there's more than enough game to play here.
Yeah.
How's End? So you're all caught up.
I'm all caught up.
So how does
I've done it.
So do you ever have that gear loop? Because that's probably my biggest question about Endgame is, do you feel like in your extreme you were thinking to yourself, oh man, that's hard, but maybe if I go farm that materia and
it's strange because coming from how WoW gears you, I was sort of expecting something a little bit similar. It's not at all, actually. The best gear that I can get at max level is crafted, if you can believe it. For the time being, outside of doing like the latest savages and extremes, is crafted with like all of my little gems in it, and that's relatively easy to grab just off the market board. Or if you've been keeping up with your crafting and gathering, which I'm going to quickly ask, have you both been keeping up with your gathering and your crafting?
I hate crafting. No.
I can make hemp and hot shorts, so that's where I'm at.
Okay, can you fish?
I do like fishing. I do like fishing. Okay. We did an entire fishing stream. We couldn't believe how many people watched.
It's so good. If you haven't already, get the boat from Limsa. It's amazing. But no, best gear you can get, at least for me, is crafted gear. And I can't really reliably go out and farm better gear at the minute. I can try and get groups for savages, but that's something you kind of want a pre-established party for. So I'm pretty content with where the gear's at, to be honest, because I've got pretty decent gear through crafting. Something which you mentioned a second ago on the topic of classic WoW, the whole 40-man raiding and how hard it must be to get 40 people together and like get 39 other people to follow rules and tactics. Isn't that part of the joy of this game? 4-player parties, 8-player parties. It's so easy to manage. You know, it's like, oh, well, you stand there, you stand there. Oh, that's everybody. Let's give it a go. It's amazing.
The alliance
and that
raids
is part of what. Yeah.
They really highlight what they want that content to be, which is everybody explodes and don't worry about it too much.
There's so much that lines up with. I can't believe we've gotten this deep talking about. We've made allusions to things are different now. I don't know how old you are, Endy, but Kyle and I are just over the 30 hill, and
I'm close to the 30 hill. I'll say that.
Okay, and there's so many things, and that's part of it. Like my, now that we're streaming and we're finding success, we have more time than we would have had before. But that was a big thing that was keeping me away from MMOs a few years back. But in terms of getting a group together, like everyone's around the same age. Like our generation is very much drawn to these types of games. I feel like the way we make jokes about boomer culture, like MMOs are going to become like LOL millennial games.
Definitely.
That's kind of how I feel about them. But also, like, I don't give a shit. I love them. Like, I'm glad that they're still getting made. And so, like, yeah, like streamer privilege only goes so far. Like, and I feel like the fact that things like no trash, like if you go to a trial, you just load in, you're just staring down the barrel of the boss you're going to try and defeat. It's so much more accessible, and you have a much better idea of how long it's going to take you to succeed. And so, like, we can pretty reliably finish a blind extreme in about 4 hours. And so we will announce next Thursday is going to be an extreme stream. And we put together a group, and I'm looking forward to having a reason to make a static. No idea who we're going to bring in. Maybe we'll just get a bunch of streamers together or something, but time zones are hard, but there's so many things about Final Fantasy 14 that I think beyond whether it was burnout with World of Warcraft, whether you thought World of Warcraft was just lacking quality, that is subjective. But I see the trend also. There's a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, I think, that lines up with an aging demographic better.
Definitely.
As well. Like that's like beyond the story.
Well, I think it doesn't take your time for granted. There's never been a time where I've played the game and thought, they don't appreciate that I only have a set amount of hours per day to play this game. And the whole no trash in, trials is evidence of that. The fact that you can just keep going on and on and on without having to re-clear. Oh, the mobs are back. We need to re-clear. Old Karazhan. I don't know if you both ran that.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be fighting Achumen, and all of a sudden the stable hand's there, and you're like, oh, well, 20 minutes are up. Back we go to go kill the trash again. And I just don't have that time, and I don't think many of us who played WoW back then and have now obviously, we're now 15, 20 years older. Blimey. Sorry for the existential crisis, guys.
Right there with you, buddy.
Blimey. No, it says to you, don't worry, we understand you've got like 2-3 hours free. Get in here, let's kill some bosses, and that feels great. And I think like the MSQ also does that in that it gives you these defined stop points. Like, okay, you've done a quest, you can do another quest. It might take you half an hour, or you can go to bed. And it's like, I think I'll go to bed and pick this up tomorrow, and that's fantastic. And it's part of the reason why I was happy to dive back into an MMO, because I felt my time was being properly looked after by the game. Yeah,
I really share that feeling. It's only gotten stronger too the deeper I get into the game, because like it's not like I started a game and jumped right into an extreme. I didn't know that's what that was basically Final Fantasy 14 rating. Like when I first saw Trials, and it took me a while. We did it. We had to do a more than one alliance raid before I was like, oh, alliance raids are kind of just like for fun. This isn't like the hard content that everyone's like trying to progress through. It's trials and the various difficulties, or the single boss raids that have savages attached to them. Like that it took me. It's been such a exercise in saving over my WoW brain as I learn how what 14's Endgame even looks like. And to me, it's also crazy that we can essentially have an Endgame every expansion if we want to, which is what we've been doing. We don't do every extreme before we move on, but we do most extremes before we move on to the next expansion.
I think that's a smart idea, because I kind of didn't do that. I dabbled in a couple of extremes every expansion. I think the most fun I had doing extreme level or hard content was probably doing the original Coils series. I don't know if you guys went back and did that on stream.
We got carried.
Yeah, just carried
off air
offline
from a friend. We just everyone was like, you really need to know the story. And we're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So we have a video about the story. We did not learn the content. It did not challenge us. Our buddy, who was the one that got Kyle to start playing, carried us through on a shiny new Reaper.
Nice. No, we did that MINE, most of it. There were 3 bosses which were just hard as nails to overcome. But we did that relatively blind, I would say, back in A Realm Reborn, and that felt amazing, getting to experience that. But definitely overwriting the WoW brain, because when you hear 24-player raid, you think, okay, that's the hard stuff. I'll bring some potions for the Crystal Tower. And then you walk in, and it's like, oh, everyone's left me. Because if you do the Crystal Tower and the Party Finder, it's like a train. Like, you get left behind very quickly. So yeah, very quickly realized that's not how it works here. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing the extremes at the end of each expansion. Which has been your favorite, do you think?
Favorite. It's interesting. That's an interesting way to phrase it.
What a metric. Yes, indeed.
What a metric. What has been my... I mean, the easy answer is Shinryu. It's so unlike the normal version of it. It is so transformative.
Yeah. That's one I attempted but didn't beat. I think we got into half health.
It is the only one we turned Echo on for.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But completely took me by surprise when all of a sudden things were falling from the sky, and I'm like, this did not happen earlier. But I quite like it. It goes back to what we were mentioning, I think it was in the pre-show, about hard mode dungeons, about how you think, oh, it's going to be harder. But it's not necessarily harder. It's more an alternate route, new dungeon, new bosses.
It's like new story, new reason to revisit the dungeon.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the extremes do that. Did you dabble in the Omega Raid series?
Yes, we cleared it on normal.
Did you attempt any of them at Savage difficulty?
No.
No, not Omega.
No.
I will not spoil any surprises, but there are some transformative moments in some of the Savage fights.
Yeah, we've been hinted. I would like to. Omega, the MF is like one of my favorite moments of our entire playthrough.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming, and I like Amano's art style, and when that moment pops off, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
this is cool because I don't love the Omega mech design. I'm like, this is fine. Looks like Dr. Robotnik had an emo phase.
A little bit.
But oh boy, that by the end of that goes off.
I will never now. I will never be able to get the idea that it's Dr. Robotnik's emo phase out of my head. Whenever I run it, I'll be like, I know what you are. Oh dear.
That was probably also the biggest gauntlet of references that they've ever done. So it was a little missed on us in that regard too. I like the MIDI stuff was great. The whole dragon lore.
Yeah.
Still really enjoyed it, and I hope people found it fun because I thought like it was the first time I ever thought that it was unique that we didn't have a background of 14 because there was shit like Ghost Train that I geeked out about. I'm like, I don't know shit about Ghost Train, but this is cool. Like this is so rad. Like that's still one of my favorite like set pieces that I've experienced. Like, and some of it I'm like, okay, it's a boss fight and it's
cool.
I'm sure it's some reference to some old Final Fantasy, but like that the art like painting boss, like things I have no frame of reference for that I still think are just cool and stand on their own.
Yep.
Like
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the references that happened during that raid series, I had no clue about. And I had a pretty hard policy that I didn't want to know what they were referencing. I didn't want to be spoiled on anything because I'll eventually play them myself. But yeah, I loved them. And I think Ghost Train and the painting boss, especially, we actually mentioning it earlier, is such a unique boss that you remember it. And, not that I'm trying to pit Warcraft versus Final Fantasy, but there are so many raid bosses over the 15 years I played WoW that are just forgettable, and I don't remember them because it's just tank boss here, stab it in the back, move left, move right, it's dead. But the Ghost Train boss, this painting boss, that is going to stay with me for a very long time. Yeah,
they go really hard with some of the arenas and fanfare that happen around the arenas. WoW does too, and I'm a little harsh on Alexander. I cannot tell you what any fight but the final fight of Alexander is, and I've experienced all of it, and just like none of it really stuck in my head because it just kind of felt like one vaguely robot thing after the next.
I kept thinking about Siege of Orgrimmar during a lot of it. I don't know if either of you would feel that same way. There's so many bosses in there which gave me Siege of Orgrimmar vibes, where mechs would come out and I'd have to tank the mech somewhere, and I'd be like, this reminds me of the end of Siege. But no, apart from like two other bosses, I'm with you. Alexander to me is my least favorite of the raid series.
Yeah, the ending is killer.
Stellar.
Absolutely killer.
100%.
But yeah, that's what we got later on into Shadowbringers, and I'm like, oh my god, it's time travel. People are like, there's already been time travel. You did, Alexander. I'm like, that story's made up. That story's not important. I didn't retain any of that lore. Like I was so also like, yeah, like we love doing our voices, and I should have chosen a much easier voice to do for goblins because there's so much goblin ridiculousness.
I think you've set yourself up here. Go on then, let's have a listen.
What? Shit. I talk like Gobble, like this.
Oh, yes.
And there it is.
There. But then you're reading Shakespearean literature, multiple paragraphs at a time about the Illuminati cheese. And they just go on and on.
I mean, I guess that's a question from a streamer duo that gets to divide up the job. How long did you stream MSQ, and were you okay at the end of it with that much reading? Like, oh my goodness, that's hard work.
It's one of those things where, much in the same way you've committed to that goblin voice, I committed to some rather interesting voices too, and it's not until you get to like the fourth paragraph by this random NPC who you thought it was going to be a one-line wonder that you think, oh, I probably should have gone for something a bit easier. You know, you're on like the fourth paragraph of some very long words, and you're like, well, I can't keep this up. But no, I've drank a lot of water. Let's put it that way. Yeah, a big bottle. I invested in a nice big bottle because you need that. But no. It definitely, as someone who doesn't, outside of streaming, I don't talk a lot, outside of DMing for my D&D campaign, but that's a whole other story.
So what does your goblin sound like?
You're going to have to give me a second to remember. I think it was something along the lines of, hello there, welcome,
sure,
Gobby Flop, Fuzzy Wrench.
That's
remarkably like a World of Warcraft gnome.
Yeah, I guess it is. Welcome to Nomagan.
Exactly, for Nomagan.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I'm playing WoW again.
You get in there. You get in the nostril.
Yeah, that's it.
About to be a 2000s pop punk singer.
Exactly, very nasally. But no, you realize that maybe some voices need to be retired. And I've definitely had a few characters... And I wait and I look at chat and they're like, excuse me, Endy, you're not doing the correct voice for Alphinaud right now. And I'm like, oh, do I have to? And it's like, okay, I'll bring him out. But no, I was chatting about this about a week ago, that the dynamic that you both have, not only in being able to share the load of all of these different lines of dialogue, but when something happens, the fact that you can just turn to each other and go, did that just happen? Is amazing, and I'm very jealous of that fact, because there's so many moments where I'm playing and instead of getting to look around and ask somebody, did that really just happen? Did we really just go to the first? It's like I just have to sort of like stare at my screen with my mouth open like, did that happen? So yeah, I think you guys have aced it in that department.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's another big reason I think we didn't stream for a while, because we were like, you can't stream together. That's not a thing people do.
People don't do this.
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
It does kind of cause like what feels like a hostage situation too on Extreme Night, because I'm healer, he's tank, and if we're messing up, everybody's dying. Like there's no getting carried. And sometimes at the end of the day,
we have a PSA that we repeat every Extreme Night where we're like, all right, y'all, if you're gonna try and join our group, just know you might be in this for 4 hours, and we need you to be okay with that. Bring your A game. Do not spoil us on mechanics, and be ready to die a lot.
Make sure your gear is repaired, because it will be broken again soon.
Are one of you are capable of hyper repairing us inside? That would also be a boon. If we could get one person that can repair, that'd be thank you. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. But what's also a thing is we got questions from our Discord that we are now going to launch in your direction.
I'm ready to receive.
Perfect. Wonderful.
There you go.
We're gonna kick it off with just kind of a big general question. Iprix from our Discord asked, any advice for beginning streamers you wish you had been given?
Oh, good question. It's hard to say, because I think the advice I would give somebody is to get into it for the right reasons. Don't go into it thinking I'm going to have thousands of people watching me and buy a Lamborghini and it's going to be great. Get into it because you want to share your love of games. That's what I started out with. And it's from that I think people came to see that I had a genuine interest in what I was doing. So if you can do that for other people, they should be able to see that sort of light and passion within you and, stick around. That'd be my big tidbit, I think.
Well said.
I think that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Mine was always just start. Just start. You're gonna make mistakes, and
no, that's also a good one.
Yeah. Every time you hit live, it's gonna be a little better than the last time you hit live.
Yeah.
All right, then we got a couple kind of general gaming, and then we'll end on Final Fantasy 14 questions, because of course there's Final Fantasy 14 questions.
Of course.
But Midnight from our Discord said, "What do you think of the MMO Holy Trinity? Is there a space to add support as a fourth? What about MMOs that do away with it entirely? Is it something that you enjoy in the MMO environment?"
So we kind of touched on this when we deviated into a Heroes of the Storm ramble earlier, in that I think there is room for that sort of role, having played Abatha in Heroes of the Storm, which is one of my favorite heroes to play, who sort of serves not a typical healer role, but very much I don't even just general support.
I feel like utility has a word for that.
Yeah, I think utility is the right word to use. I wouldn't mind seeing it attempted. I know Warcraft has recently experimented a little bit, I believe, with the augmentation evoker. I'm not fully up to date on that, but from what I gather, their role is utility in providing a damage buff to other raid members as a side, to just flat out dealing damage or healing or tanking. I suppose 14 has Sage, which feels a little bit different to the other healers, but still maybe not a utility. I don't know. I think it would be possible, but it would mean maybe removing certain utility from other classes, I think, in order to make that happen, in order to make a utility role feel valuable. So I think that's hard to do. Like, if you think back to WoW, like Warcraft with their demonic gateways, that's a lovely bit of utility. And I feel like giving those utility abilities to the Holy Trinity might be a better method than just giving one class all of the tools in the toolbox and then letting them play with them. What do you both think?
Kind of the way I feel. I talk often about MMOs like a car. Like you can only get so far away from the winning formula.
Yeah.
Before it becomes an alien experience that makes you wonder why would I bother this? Like because I can get in I can get in a Honda, but then I can go get in a Ford. It's gonna have an accelerator, a brake, and a steering wheel. And I feel very much the same way about playing MMOs, especially if they're tab targeting MMOs. Is tab targeting old and feel a little moldy? Yeah, totally. But does it also make me feel familiar and I can go try multiple MMOs and immediately kind of sit down and enjoy my experience? Also,
exactly.
Yes. And that's how I feel about the Holy Trinity. I feel like it's kind of, I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but any MMO that I have spent more than 3 months of my life with has had and like stuck with it has had the Holy Trinity.
I like to see them play with the formula, but I would never want it to maybe deviate past the Holy Trinity. I wouldn't mind seeing DPS gain a couple more tools to maybe play with, but I wouldn't want to see another archetype, I feel. And especially in 14, where you've got the 2 DPS healer tank, which I think is such a lovely layout to have. That to then be like, okay, well, if we're adding another role into the game, we're going to need a healer, a tank, a DPS, and then utility. And what are they going to have to make them different? It's hard to really surmise what that's going to look like.
Yeah, and with Final Fantasy being, baking, not cooking, you follow the recipe. And you need to defeat it on its terms. And the whole sacrificing DPS to bring utility feels extra weird. It's weird all around, right? Like back in vanilla days, you played a druid, and that lack of communication and discords and meta and all that meant when you had a druid, you're like, I could heal guys, or I could tank. Like, these are all acceptable risks we could take because of our investment in the game. Nowadays, that druid has to be just as good as every other tank because it's how many hours to level up, how many people in your guild, how big of an investment in the gear and all that. And it just feels bad. For me, there's one support. Like, when we think of supports, we often think of like hybrid classes and like more of a bard kind of thing, something very buff heavy. But in my opinion, the best support I ever saw made was actually in 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons with the Warlord, who was all about repositioning people and changing the spots on a grid-based game. And could you do that with an MMO? Could you have someone that is entirely positional, like a class that is just there, a job to help the tank get the guy into the proper position without the tank having to sacrifice that movement time?
Yeah, it's that would be interesting to see brought into an MMO. It would be so hard, I think, to remove people from the Holy Trinity to make that work. Do you know what I mean?
Someone else has to be sacrificed.
Yeah. I'll quickly say on the topic of 4E, my mild concern is that the 14 RPG, tabletop RPG, might be a little bit 4E.
It does look like you can zoom in on those fuzzy character sheets, and you're like, "Ooh, this is looking."
In.
Yeah, I see the little icons for the abilities. It's looking very tactical in that way.
Yeah, I could see it working. I could see it working, but my initial thought was, this is looking a lot like 4th edition, which if they put their own spin on it, it'll be good, I'm sure, but I'm hesitant at the minute. I'll say that. Very hesitant.
Well, speaking of our other RPGs, Pothy asks, with the success of Baldur's Gate 3, what IP would you think would make a fun turn-based RPG?
Wow. That is a good question.
Can we just do another Star Wars one? Can we just like make more KOTOR?
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I'd like, because I didn't play KOTOR growing up and it doesn't really hold up now.
I feel like turn-based is slowly coming back around. I feel like people are beginning to sort of come round to that sort of gameplay. There's been a lot of discussion online, obviously, about Baldur's Gate 3 being turn-based now. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I really don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing something in like the Diablo universe. Something like that, because I love the world of Diablo a lot, and I would like to be able to explore it at a more leisurely pace without blowing up just hordes of zombies. As much as I love that playstyle, don't get me wrong, I would like to be able to experience like a proper story, proper narrative-driven game set in that world. And I think turn-based RPG might be the way to do it. But outside of that, I'm with you, Star Wars. Bring it on. Come on.
I like the idea of one enemy in Diablo inspiring absolute terror because it's a slower paced game.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Other than just like a boss. But Origin and End said, what game from any year do you find yourself coming back to even after multiple playthroughs?
Ooh. I think the one that I most recently reinstalled, and it goes back to that sort of homeliness that I mentioned earlier with MMOs, and that's The Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Ooh.
I remember doing that for the first time, leaving the sewers, and boom, vista of the lake with the Ayleid ruins across the way, and a map with one destination. And I didn't have to go there. And that felt amazing. And I will occasionally give it a reinstall, make my way around the world, go and see Lucy and LeChance, which is obviously one of the best moments in the game. Oh, I've accidentally killed someone. Accidentally. Oh, and someone's greeting me in my sleep. This is brilliant. I love that game to bits. And as much as I enjoyed Skyrim and Morrowind, Oblivion has a very special place in my heart. And funnily enough, I was going to bring it up earlier on the whole topic about zone transitions in 14, about how you can't just fly from one zone to the next seamlessly. You've got to go through like a wall that will teleport you over there. That was initially that put me off a little bit, because I like to be able to just roam across open hills and eventually arrive in a new location, right? It feels great, you know? It really makes me feel like an adventurer. I've warmed up to it a little bit. I hate to say it. With 14, I don't mind it too much. But initially I did miss out on that whole adventuring and being able to just fly over a mountain and, oh, I'm in a new zone. Or I can fly over to the Shroud, or I can fly over to Lenosha. But yeah, Oblivion. I don't know if you guys are big into the Elder Scrolls.
Oblivion's my favorite of all time.
Yeah. Oh,
I was a big Bethesda hater until Skyrim. I aggressively disliked Bethesda games until Skyrim.
That's understandable.
And then went back to aggressively disliking them when Fallout kept coming out, and I was like, oh, God, I still don't like these.
Yeah. I gave Fallout 4 a go, and I was like, this feels really similar. Hopefully they put something else out next, and it's like Fallout 76. I'm like, okay, I'll sign off now. I'll come back.
I'm really
later.
Enjoying Starfield. It's Cyberpunk has taken me away for a little bit, but I think I will be returning there very shortly.
Nice. I'll check it out.
I'm enjoying. I think I recently surpassed 20 hours in Starfield, so I'm not as deep as a lot of people, but that's more than I stick with most games that aren't the MMO that I'm currently playing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, have you fired up the Baldur's Gate 3 for yourself? Or I guess you've been all Final Fantasy maybe, so. Well,
funnily enough, I'm going to finally start it on Monday. That's the plan.
Nice.
I've kind of exhausted my 14 stuff that I'm interested in. So I'm going to go back to doing that on Fridays only, and I'm going to finally dive into Baldur's Gate. We've really picked a good year, haven't we, to get into an MMO? Because it's like
I'm so glad it's such a quiet year. I have so much extra time.
The thing is, though, isn't that a testament to how good this game is? That all of these other games are coming out, and as much as I want to go play them, I've been like, no, I would like to continue my journey in FF14, please, thank you very much. And only now am I able to sort of begin smelling the delicious scents of all these other games which have come out earlier in the year, and it smells pretty good, guys. It smells pretty good. I'll let you know how it is. But no, I'll definitely check out Starfield, because I've been a bit hesitant to jump into that, but your glowing recommendation has sold me.
I really like how picking your backstory affects your playthrough in that game.
Yeah.
It impressed me, and I just like the ships. I like doing the ships. I like building my ship. I like flying my ship. I like landing my ship on things. It's fun. And the shooting is good for a Bethesda game. It's how I recommend.
Just out of interest, have you ever played Elite Dangerous?
I tried to play Elite Dangerous.
If you enjoy landing ships on things, it's a great game for that. So if you ever get the time,
I couldn't learn how to take off, so I stopped playing Elite Dangerous.
Understandable. It's understandable. I got like a really entry level flight stick. That made it a lot easier. I just sort of lifted the stick up and off I went. It was great.
I had one.
No.
I still didn't. I still wasn't able to take off.
I will have to instruct you on the way of lifting off with your airship.
Sounds good. The throttle's broken. Actually, that flight stick just got tossed. It's been collecting dust for years.
That's it.
Eka, getting into Final Fantasy 14 questions from our Discord, said, "What's the one thing you still don't like from 14, or at the very least tolerate?"
The glamour system.
Yep. You want the old, you touch it and it's yours kind of thing?
Yeah. Now that I'm at Endgame, I've been thinking about what I did at Endgame, and wow, and a lot of my playtime was, I'll go run this old dungeon and get that really cool chest transmog. I'll go run that raid and get that really cool tier set. I'm at 800 out of 800 in my glamour dresser, and I am only now at Endgame. So it's so much maintenance to go to the glamour dresser, and I'm like, okay, that chest piece isn't going to make the cut, so I have to take it out, go and like dispose of it somewhere. If not, it clogs up the armory chest. And then I've got to go to the dungeon, get it, bring it back, glamour, put the prism, and it's so much work. Like when I first learned the system, I felt like I needed someone to be there to like support me, like an emotional support person, just to give me a hug, you know, and be like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. So here's your glamour plate, here's your prisms. When you get it though, it's fine, but I have this lingering memory of what it could be, that transmog system from WoW. So if I could
transmog in chat right now saying I would sacrifice a raid series for getting a WoW transmog system in Final Fantasy.
Oh,
like damn.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I disagree. I think I might agree.
A whole series? I mean,
I like raids, man. But have you tried to take something and add something to your glamour chest recently?
Yeah, I can't remember. Right, that's that weird, like I can't remember it being any other way because I watched the guide videos in order to do it. So now I know, and I'm in the cultural touchstones. And
anytime this comes up, we get the people being like, they've talked about it, they can't do it. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, it's a magic wand situation.
I don't care. Yeah. This is my magic wand answer.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Because it's always, the spaghetti code of 1.0 and 2.0. And I'm like, yeah, let's cook the spaghetti and let's fix it. Let's get it in the game.
Yes, I see your reality, but it doesn't make this pill go down any easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's it's that or loading screens for me. I share your feeling, and I don't think I've really gotten over. I would say the loading screens are probably my least favorite thing about 14, and I understand that it's just the way the game was built.
Yeah.
But it does. I love Aetherytes. I love just porting, just go. Boof,
yeah, it's
wonderful.
Great.
But you could have that and still have no load screens.
No, I'm with you. Did you ever play Guild Wars 2 out of interest?
A little bit at launch. I was a Guild Wars 1 player, and so I got Guild Wars 2 at launch, but I very quickly went right back to World of Warcraft.
Because I feel like that predisposed me to loading screens between zones. So I think I'd already sort of had a little taste of that sort of traversal system.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind it as much, but I think had it not been for Guild Wars and I'd just gone from WoW to this, then I'd have been like, okay, not a fan of that. But
Yeah.
I've grown to like it, I think.
I don't think it ruins the game for me, but at all.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I also wouldn't say I like it.
It's a magic stick thing again, right? If you could just wave your wand and all of a sudden it's an open world, I'd happily take that.
Yeah. Yeah. Kadrick asks, what area, dungeon, etc. in the game are you most excited to see get a glow up with the lighting and graphical updates coming in 7.x?
I think it's got to be Amarot.
Yeah, that's a correct answer. Amarot is always the answer for any question. What's your favorite zone? Amarot. What's your favorite part of Final Fantasy 14? Amarot. What's the best scene in Final Fantasy 14? Amarot?
All of Amarot. Yes. No, I've often, just when I'm AFK in a queuing for a roulette, I'll go and just sort of sit on the precipice where you first see Amarot and just stare at it and sort of turn off the UI, wait for the ping to go off, enable UI, join the roulette, and just sort of look at it because it's gorgeous. And it's, again, easily top 5 moment in the game, that reveal. And
it's so unique to 14 as well. A little Bioshocky, but you know what it doesn't remind me of? You know what I can't draw any comparisons to is World of Warcraft. It is wholly Final 100%. Fantasy 14. It is FF14 as hell. And I love doing the comparisons. And some people think we're like farming drama or something. Like, no, they're two games that have consumed a massive part of my life. Yeah, and I love comparing the two. But
to talk about that very quickly, because I don't want to go on too long. Going to for the very first time reminded me almost of going through the Dark Portal back in the Burning Crusade 15 years ago. Because it's this, I was fully bought into the game. I'm fully immersed. So when we are traveling through the Rift and you see the first and you arrive in that forest, which is entirely alien, it reminded me almost of the Hellfire Peninsula, where all of a sudden I believe I'm in a new world completely. And it was amazing. And I don't mind making the comparisons either, because again, 15 years of my life in that game, that being able to speak fondly of this game, comparing it to that game, is a compliment, if anything, to just how much I've bought into this world. And it has done it multiple times. And, it's exquisite. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I want BC Plus, and they just do some cool animation when you step through the Dark Portal. Because the scene when you go to the first is awesome.
Yeah.
Shadowbringers is really good, y'all. If somehow you've listened to all of this, spoiled the living crap out of yourself, and you still haven't played Final Fantasy 14, let me tell you, still worth it.
These are all dudes in a room. We didn't do anything too bad today.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. If you didn't play, you're probably like, what the hell is the first?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Yeah.
To explain it would take a very long time.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. About 3 weeks ago, I had an old raid buddy from WoW hit me up and was like, how you been, man? What you up to? And I'm like, oh, YouTube and stuff. He's like, oh, what are you doing for work? I'm like, YouTube. He goes, oh, shit. I'm glad to hear it's working out for you. What are you doing? Hey. I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy 14. And he's like, is that any good? I've heard it's good. I'm like, yeah, it's really good.
Explain the story to me. Do you have a week?
That was the thing. Yeah. Actually, I tried to pitch it to him because he was an old raid mate. I was like, everyone's going to tell you the story's good. And they're right. What no one promotes, and they should, is that the raid bosses or trial fights are legit. They're freaking legit. And if you're looking for something to scratch the WoW raid itch and recapture your glory days of being a WoW raider, 14 sings in that department as well.
Definitely does.
Yeah, that's my new tactic for selling my friends.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, you've been awesome with your time, Endy. Thanks for
it's been my pleasure. My pleasure. As I said, you've come highly recommended of literally multiple dozens of people. So it's great to finally not only meet you, but chat with you. And I'm always about to join your Heroes of the Storm party.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hit that install button if it's done. By the time we're done, we can do a bonus game. But yeah. Well, rad. Well, thank you so much for your time again. We'll have to have you on again. I've faintly listened to a couple clips of yours. I'm afraid because you're further than us in 14, but no one told me you had such a good podcast voice. So
you do, yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take
have to come back on.
I was always told I had a face for podcasting, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Heard that one before. Heard that one before.
I'm very excited to hear how your journey continues. You are in for a treat, and I know you've probably heard that already a million times over.
I didn't believe it in Heaven's Word because I really liked Heaven's Word, but they were right. But they also said Stormblood's not that good, and I freaking love Stormblood. So
I'm with you on that too.
I really like Stormblood. It's it seems special too after Shadowbringers because it's so grounded by comparison.
Yeah. So. The Azim Step, one of the best zones in the game. So good.
Damn straight. Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, before we go, we want to thank those of you that are supporting us on our Patreon. Also, a shout out to everyone supporting us with YouTube memberships. Your choice, you can do either. You get the same bonus content, the same access to our members only channels in our Discord, regardless of what way you choose to support us. We keep a little bit more of the cut from Patreon. That's it. That's all there is to it. But we understand if you want those emotes. I designed some of them myself. I think they're pretty decent. Check out supportourbromance.com. That'll take you directly to our Patreon page where you can sign up and get those perks for yourself, just like our recent patrons this week, Snowburn182. I see that reference. And Doug.
Thank you
no
both.
Last name given on Doug there. Thank you both. Thank you very much. We also have a special level of patrons that would think each and every podcast episode. You also get your name at the end of our YouTube videos. Thank you to our legendary level backers, Sean B, Mike R, Stephen J, Das, Sean with an EAB, Cheesy Bob, Jeremy, and KLG Chaos. Thank you for the generous support, everybody. Also, we got a code we can hand out now. Kyle, you and I both use Doghouse Systems gaming PCs. You can go to doghousesystems.com and use the code BROMANCE, and they will give you a free 2 terabyte NVMe SSD upgrade if you use that code, because then they know we sent you. So you get something, you support the show in the process. Check it out. doghousesystems.com, code BROMANCE. I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. Kyle's at Kyle Ferguson. Endy, are you on the sinking ship?
Yeah.
Known as Twitter?
I think NDD20. I'm on there somewhere, okay. I think. I don't know
Wonderful.
where.
Wonderful.
But
you can find...
name your Twitch again for everybody, too.
I was about... Okay.
I
was about to do it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay.
Take it away, Endy.
Endy can promote his own stuff.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah. Do it.
Just NDD20, guys. That's all.
Yeah, twitch.tv/NDD20. We'll get a link into chat there for everybody. Make sure you go check it out. There's not an HTTP set. It's not clickable. I'll fix that after the show. Everything we do can be found at youtube.com/AMoveTV. Just search for Grinding Gear on YouTube. You will find our channel. We'll be live tonight with more Endwalker MSQ. We'll be live next Tuesday. If 14's playable, if it isn't, maybe we'll just go back to Baldur's Gate 3. Whatever happens, we'll see you on a stream very soon. But until then, GG.
Take care.
Farewell.
All right. We are still live. That is just the end of the official podcast.
The official record has ended.
Hi, chat. How are you doing?
I see we had some questions come in for
We got a
Endy
super question for Endy from Kauru, who wants to know your favorite D&D class.
Favorite D&D class is got to be Warlock.
Ooh.
Yeah, Pact of the Blade.
Okay, that's a good way.
I don't often get to play. I'm a forever DM,
yeah, me
unfortunately.
Too. Me too.
So when I do get to play, I play Warlock. It's my favorite. Love it to bits.
Nice. Do you find yourself? Are you a short rest abuser, or do you just kind of go with the flow?
I'm definitely go with the flow. I don't know about you. When I play D&D, I try to not get bogged down in like the short rest, long rest thing. I'm like, we're in this dungeon, we're not backing out, we're going on, we're steaming ahead. That's how I like to play it. But no, yeah, forever DM at the minute. But that's probably my favorite, along with paladin, but that feels a bit vanilla, I think, at this point. I feel like
Paladin powerhouse, but
yeah, it is. Oath of Vengeance, I think, if I had to pick.
That was the first thing I tried in BG3.
Nice. Are you able to break your oath?
Oh,
in
yeah.
BG3?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Oathbreaker Paladin is very much a thing.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
There's a whole character that shows up and chews you out for breaking your oath. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
They thought of it.
Okay. Yeah, between those, I think Druid as well is pretty decent, but I've not had a lot of time to actually play as a Druid. It's what I played back in WoW, actually. Night Elf Druid, first ever character. I did the wetlands run all the way over to, I used to run all the way through the starting zone. I used to play with my dad at the time, and he started as a human priest.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I was like, Father, I'll come to you. Little did I know it would be akin to the hobbits going to Mount Doom. It was pretty treacherous. But getting on the tram from Ironforge to Stormwind, and knowing that I was almost there, felt so good. There's my long-winded answer to what my favorite
phenomenal
D&D
waste
class
of
is.
time, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the magic, right? Like, okay,
exactly.
I'm gonna get on the flight point. I have 15 minutes to go make dinner. Like, but I also didn't have children, a wife, people to take care of. So that 15 minutes of dinner was well spent because that's how long it took to make the ramen before I got back in here and kept playing.
But you see, it's time that we wanted to waste. You know, it's not. They aren't saying waste your time. I'm saying I'm wasting my own time, and you can't stop me. And that's what made it so good. What are your favorite classes in D&D? Do you both get to play, or are you also a forever DM?
I'm a forever DM, except for like I did a long run podcast where I got to play a barbarian, which I love 5th edition barbarian, and I hate leveling it up because it's the most boring thing ever.
Yeah.
But playing it and the tools it has available are phenomenal, and it's a great fantasy.
The question is, did you also? Because I've watched a fair bit of Critical Role. I couldn't help when I played a barbarian from saying I would like to rage like Grog would in Critical Role. It became a thing that I would have to do.
We were actually,
and I do it.
Yeah.
Go on.
We were doing our podcast at the same time alongside, Critical Role. It was the whole D&D podcast boom. 2016 or so.
That's right. Yeah.
So I avoided watching it for the longest time until recently, so that it wouldn't creep in my head, right?
Yeah. Don't blame you.
Yeah, but no, I enter my rage in the most casual voice ever. Like
I would like to rage, please, Dungeon Master.
And the casual, three fire damage to you, please, if you will, as a bonus action. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
I've jotted that down.
I didn't grow up with D&D. I actually have more experience with the Star Wars Edge of the Empire tabletop role-playing game than I do Dungeons and Dragons. But most fun I've ever had playing D&D was as a what did I do when I was on your live play podcast? I was an archer.
Yeah, dragon hunter. You were a ranger.
Yeah. I came up with this elf game warden. Ranger character, and I've 100% just copied the U.S. Marshal character from Justified. So it was this swamp elf with a southern drawl, and I had so much fun playing that character.
Oh dear!
But that was a good time. I also had a lot of fun in a one shot I did as a barbarian. It's just so much fun to just do big ridiculous strength rolls.
Hitting's
I love
fun.
just picking up heavy objects and smashing people with them.
There's a lot
throwing people,
and you can just walk through it and push it open. That feels great.
Yeah, it feels good. That is a very generous super chat, Overdue. Thank you. Wants us to play Marry Fuck Kill with Gaius, Thancred, and Graha.
Wow, what a lineup.
You kill Thancred because he should have died. I marry Graha because he's supportive, and have a fun romp with Thancred because...
Wait, you did Thancred twice.
Or sorry, fun romp with Gaius because he's a pretty man.
Just ignoring Gaius. Thancred twice.
Sorry, poor Gaius.
And now you're dead. Thank you for the lovely
Gaius
evening.
is not emotionally available enough to marry. I'm sorry.
I see this as also outing you as married to Estinian. Congratulations, Endy. You bagged a good one.
We tied the knot, and it was a very emotional moment. It was during a stream about a month ago. I got sent a video file, and members of the community had rallied together and sort of funded a cameo message from the voice actor of Estinian, asking me to clean out my bags and go back to the Golden Saucer where we could have a romantic date.
Ooh,
and I
nice.
watched that on the daily, guys. It's it brings me a lot of joy. No, Estinian's my favorite character, I think. As alongside, I think, Alphino. I think they're my two favorite characters.
Oh, you Alphino. Well,
yeah,
you must have had a good time. Wait, when did this start? When did the Alphino cross the line?
I'll be honest. In A Realm Reborn, I thought this guy does not shut up. When is he going to die? What's happening?
All right.
Little twerp. Didn't enjoy him. And I was very vocal about that. And then you get the you get the scene where he's by the campfire with Estinian and Ysel over in Heaven's Ward, and there's a little something. You think, oh, there's something there beneath the surface.
He's growing.
Maybe I didn't see before. And it grows and it grows and it grows. And his character arc is something special. That moment with Dulia, when she takes him in her arms and she's like, we're always here for you, Alphino.
It was the only time I cried.
It got me big time. And yeah, I love the guy. But in terms of coolness, if we've got a coolness factor, Estinian's up there for me. Sure. I adore him. Absolutely adore him.
I quite like Estinian. I like villains though, so Emmett. No one's gonna top Emmett for me, I don't think. You're just being quiet over there.
No, not on the list. It's not on the list. Yeah, it wasn't on the list available for your.
I'm not talking. We're just talking favorite characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kyle, what's your Mary fuck?
I don't know. You had some really good logic. Your Thancred logic. I don't completely agree with you, but it is really solid logic to get through this puzzle.
It's receiving. It is just I'm just kind of memeing now. I do kind of think he should have died in Shadowbringers. I don't feel that strongly.
I'm just saying, your logic is really sound, and I think that was a great way to get rid of the kill in this situation, because otherwise, kill Gaius, kill Graha. That's just not cool, But I
really like Thinker, but I think Thinker's my least favorite of those three.
At what point during Shadowbringers do you think he should have?
Oh, after fighting Rashid.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, should have just kicked the bucket there.
Yeah.
Because if you marry Thancred, I think you have a really rich, growing relationship. It's going to take years of work, but I think it'll turn out really well in the end.
Yeah.
That's a pickle. That's a pickle.
Yeah.
I love Gaius. I mean, I'm going to be in April a 3 times dad. So everything about.
Yeah, but let's just find your children randomly.
Well, yeah, no, but just the fact that a bad guy has, Shadowhunter has.
Gaius is, to me, he is classic Star Wars vibes. He's a man who's done terrible things, but still finds redemption. Because you think about. I love Star Wars villains. Love Darth Vader. I love Anakin to Vader, particularly at post Clone Wars, because they treated Anakin with much more nuance than the prequels ever did. Irredeemable, dude killed kids, but in the grand operatic fashion of Star Wars, it goes so hard that of course it reaches that level, but you still have a character that can find redemption. And I like that. I love redeeming bad guys. God, I love it. And the worse the bad guy, the better it is. And
that's what they did with Shadowhunters. They performed the gymnastics to never redeem him, but make him work towards it.
Yeah.
And without him just being like a sack of bricks, every time you show up, you're like, oh, it's him. It's not like, oh God, here comes this bag of bones sadness here. Oh no, it's all going to be bummers. It's sad, but it's cool. It's cool sad. Cool sad. Crystal Fine, thank you for those 9 months. I'm glad that it was long enough to have a baby, but much less expensive. Fair.
A lot of things are, from what I'm told. It's from what I'm told. My one buddy here likes to tell me how much his daycare costs by telling me what cars he could have bought instead.
That's not me. That's your buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not Kyle. No. Kyle does not complain about being a dad. He's just always tired.
Yes, I put in a lot of effort. I do put in a lot of effort.
Yeah, I've never heard you complain about being a dad.
Nah. fun. I did
Just
it to
seeing you
myself
on the edge
too.
of falling asleep on stream.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. That's all I've done. Jason, thanks for the 12 months, and thanks for getting Endy on. His content has been awesome. He needs to introduce Kyle to doing big brain conspiracy pin boards. That Kyle already does that. He just doesn't make a graphic.
No, yeah, I like the graphic. It's a cool.
Yeah.
That's some.
It's such a
Good
great
plan.
way for you to also keep tabs on things because
Yeah.
I'm like a sieve. My brain, I'm just like, who's that? What's their name? What did they say? So actually, like writing it down helps massively.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what will help if you did want to make your own little things is just get a nice little Photoshop document, easily editable.
Just do it. Just get in there.
It's fairly easy work once you've got it all figured out.
Nice.
I think my biggest problem is the videos are a quiz. They're the test, and as soon as the test
Yeah.
is over, it leaves my head. Because okay,
No,
we're putting a
no.
video. Our theories are out there. Moving on.
Someone
Yeah.
can remind me of my theory.
I fully relate because the same thing happened with the whole Crystal Tower where people were like, "You called that," and I'm like, "I don't remember doing
Did
that." Did I? Thank you for remembering. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I theory crafting and corkboarding and cooking in this game is it's great. It's so much fun. It makes the experience all the more joyous, I think, because when you're wrong, it's funny to sort of laugh at your old theory, and when you're right, you sort of get to pat yourself on the back and go, "Hey, not bad, buddy, not bad."
I apologize. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure thing. I was about to lead into. I should probably give you a very clear out, Endy. We're just chilling. If you got somewhere to be, feel free.
I
Take
don't
your lead.
have anywhere to be. I can stay as long as you want me to. You can kick me out.
I just
You
want to
can
be
try.
very clear. If you want to hang out and roll through supers with us, you're more than welcome to hang. You're a fun
all
hang.
good, all good, all good.
But I always, because we've had some people who I'm like, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know I could go." I'm like, "Oh, I feel so bad." Yeah, no, you can if you need to go. Go.
No. It's 9 p.m. here now, and my wife, who's 20 weeks pregnant at the minute, has been going to bed super early. So I've got no one to hang out with. So I'm
rad. Well,
happy
in
to
that
chill
case, hang
here
out
and
with
just
us.
listen in. Yeah, I'm all
Let's
good.
go. Let's do it. It's hot and salty. I'd ask Fred T.
You know what? I'm gonna open the BattleNet launcher for the first time in months
Let's do it.
and give it an install.
Kyle's gonna come back and we'll be like, "Get in, dude. Let's go."
We're trying to summon the Raven Queen. Get in here.
Regions are still a thing in that game, aren't they?
I hope so. Did it not have a patch the other day? I feel like
They did. They did a bunch of bug fixes, but that was it. I mean, although bug fixes in HOTS, it is kind of a balance patch because there are bugs that make some heroes better than they should be. I believe Samoro was a long-awaited bug fix, and a lot of people consider him extremely nerfed now as a result.
Gotcha.
Good Sammys were bastards. Yes, yes. So we're on America's. I'm assuming you would be on Europe.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how the BattleNet launcher works and adding people cross
I think
continent.
essentially we would have to choose what region we go to, and if
Gotcha.
so, you would be locked out of your collection of heroes if you came to us, and vice versa if we came to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, did you never?
We're trying to plan we're trying to do a pickup game of HOTS right now, Kyle, and we're reminded that BattleNet regions are a thing.
Yeah. Did you never get one of those big hero packs on your EU account just in case?
Oh, I may have actually. I may have access to more heroes than I think on the EU.
Are we doing that? Should I start setting up?
I mean, I do believe Endy hit install. I don't want to keep anyone longer than they want to be kept, but I am very down for one game of heroes.
I am installing Heroes of the Storm.
Okay.
Shit, let's do it. Let's go.
All right, I'll start setting up.
You have until I run out of supers to read to get that
Okay.
Sooty super chatted much earlier. This is when we were talking about, actually, this is during the pre-show. So the reason Starfield seems to have less bugs is because Bethesda has been using the same engine since Morrowind all the way up to creative writing team. They know what the engine can and can't do. I mean, that's fine. There's still bugs. there's still bugs in Cyberpunk is what it comes down to. Like, the reasoning behind it doesn't make it less buggy, I guess, is my thought. Also, I feel like I was sold, like, I feel like the popular opinion is like, it's totally fixed, everybody. And let me tell you, Cyberpunk is not fixed. There's still some glaring issues in that game.
Oh, and then like the character editor's rough. Like you get in there and everyone's like, "This is the most beautiful game I've ever seen," and you're looking
Oh,
at
I like
your.
the character editor.
I thought it was kind of ugly. I thought it was
Really?
like, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Like it's kind of
I
low
like
res.
it. I mean, I think
textures
you know,
and-
it's not the most attractive areolas I've ever seen. I mean, the nipples are a little weird looking, but
It was just okay.
I've got to say, the nipples did look weird. Yeah.
On board for weird
Put me off.
nipples.
You know what? Cyberpunk, we mentioned it earlier. Like the bones of it are exquisite. Like when I'm immersed in Night City, I'm immersed. But I had the same issue you did, where all of the cars disappeared and there's half-naked people floating in the air. And
I didn't get
No matter
anything
how
that
hard
bad.
I
I had a lot
try.
of jumping people that I was shooting at, so it was really pissing me off.
yeah,
That seems to have stopped now that I've gotten past like the intro sequence again. Because that's like
I'm still in that
4
like
hours
gated
just to
bit.
get to the title card.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I haven't noticed as much, but I still notice cars popping in and out, which kind of takes me out of it. But I had a good like 4-hour session last night. Katie came to me because we've been watching a lot of TV together lately, and I've been enjoying it. It's been nice to just like veg. But she's like, do you mind if I really go ham on my nails, like, and get the UV thing out and all that? This is going to take some hours. I'm like, oh, honey, I'm very into Cyberpunk. I'm not mad at all. So,
Take your time.
I did like a good 4-hour session last night that I wasn't expecting to have, and I didn't have any bad bugs last night, and it was great. I got super immersed in Cyberpunk and really enjoyed my session last night. So it's not all bad, and it's not that bad. Like whatever, car pops in and out, I'll live. But I just feel like talking to some of my friends who are like, oh, dude, like I'm sure it's better than launch because it sounds like launch was a true nightmare, but it's like, yeah, it's still a little janky.
Yeah.
Janky around the edges. The lighting though, I've got a 4090 now. My God, the lighting in that game just blows my mind.
Are you
I just
ray
like
tracing?
looking at it.
Did you turn all that on?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not doing the like, I forget what they call it, like ultra ray trace or whatever.
Overdrive or something. Yeah.
Oh, I turned it on. It's a slideshow, even with a 4090. If you turn on
Have you
ultra
enabled
tracing.
the DLSS quality setting? Give that
I
a
think
go
I
if
did,
you've
and it
not.
caused input lag, so I turned it off.
Ah, okay. I was going to say I've had success with that.
Okay, I'm working with an absolute shit monitor, and I recently found out I should probably invest in a good monitor. It's 4K, but it's 60 hertz, and there's no G-Sync capability.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's just a cheapie, like, because I do so much video editing, I direly wanted a 4K monitor for just the real estate to work in Premiere.
I don't think it might be on your radar, but I went for an ultra wide a couple of years back, and for productivity with video editing, and it's amazing. And then you boot up a game like Cyberpunk, all the lights off in your room, and the light of the monitor, especially when you're walking through Night City, is something special.
God, I could just talk to you all day. How is it being a content creator? I feel like it's a giant waste of money because you can't stream it, and you shouldn't stream in it because it's going to look weird on everyone's TV or phone. I
played 14 ultra wide, but you know how you can manipulate your HUD to bring things in a little bit. Yeah. I've got like a teeny tiny, about 65 pixel black bar at the bottom of my stream and at the top. So it's slightly, hold on, BattleNet update agent. Yes, you may update.
Nice.
I've got a little black bar at the top, little black bar at the bottom, and then I still have it in ultra wide on my monitor. And on the stream, it looks relatively normal, just a little bit more cinematic, and it's absolutely fine. It can be a little bit tricky with other games that don't let you play in a 16:9 ratio when you need to. So it's hard to recommend fully, but it is very nice. I will say. I was a non-believer, and then I got one, and I will never go back. It is sublime.
Okay. Did you get a curved one? Or
oh, sorry.
I get what one? Sorry,
a curved one to like reduce overall death space.
It's ever so slightly curved. Teeny tiny curve on it. I've got it wall mounted, and it takes up little space. It's pretty good. And I rock it with a vertical second monitor, so I like look to the heavens when I need to read chat or anything. It's fine. It's because you can't have it to the left or right of the monitor, otherwise I'd be like this. Thank you for the resub, guys. Or,
because it's so big, yeah. I guess that is
exactly.
Interesting.
But it works nicely.
my trouble right now is I went down the rabbit hole of research, and it seems like all the really well reviewed, like really great gaming monitors are what is it, 2560? What is that, 1440p? It's not full 4K. I'm like, I don't want to go down because I've gotten used to 4K, but I also don't want to spend $900 on a high refresh rate real 4K monitor. I'm just like, this hurts.
I've never tasted the sweet joy that is 4K. So to me, 1440p has always felt like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Being like 2 feet from the monitor. Yeah, good luck in going back.
I might just have to bite the bullet and downgrade because it just seems like it's just so much more economical. Yeah. It's like I could get two 1440p like Razer monitors for the price of one 4K monitor with the same refresh rate. I'm just like, this is rough.
Oh, did we lose you?
Did we lose you or just your camera?
I'm here, but as we said earlier, Elgato is big poop.
I saw your camera UI right before it went off.
Yeah. I'll be back. Give me like 1 minute.
No problem.
I'm still here. I'm a ghost.
In the meantime, Mox Opal super chatted during the show saying, Jesse Cox is controlled? To my Jesse Cox is a controlled substance joke.
Yes.
You know, if I feel like if I go deeper on this joke, it's going to get clipped and sent to him. So I'm just going to say, Jesse Cox is exactly as controlled as he needs to be.
The man is legit. The clip I pulled was from the end of Crown of the Immaculate for Endy, and there was the Jesse Cox "Enjoy your journey" comment right there in the YouTube.
Oh,
yes.
The man watches all of it.
The man is a true vampire with the rest of
his desk.
Yeah.
That completely took me by surprise because I've been a big fan of Jesse since he did OMFG Kata back in the day. You know, when he was the one that you'd go to get the little new info on Cataclysm when it was still in beta. And then obviously with the TGS podcast alongside Dodger and Total Biscuit, like I've watched the guy online for like a decade. So to get that comment, it was a very starstruck moment. I was like, oh my goodness, it's the Jesse Cox. I know him.
Oh,
did we lose you, Garrett, or did you mute for...
Oh, I muted. Sorry, I'm switching over to headphones. I don't want my earpiece in anymore. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, I know. Jesse is like legitimately nice. You never know what you're gonna get because, like, to me, Jesse Cox is like uber internet famous, and so you're like, is he actually nice? Like you've worried, like, and yes, the answer is yes. Jesse is a really nice dude, really down to earth, and just as funny in person as he is on streams. Bob, thanks for the 6 months, said recuperating from surgery and catch two of my favorite streamers on the same podcast. This helps bear the pain. Hope you feel better, Bob. Wait, which one of us do you not like? Because you only said two and there's three people here. It's me or Kyle.
The stream is the product. The stream is the product. Two streams.
They said two streamers.
That's true. Yeah, the big shade. Yeah,
so,
big shade being thrown there.
It's me or Kyle that you don't like. Endy is clearly a known quantity.
Well, it's not fair because I can't do what I do without you. So that's not fair. A fair question.
You're just assuming they don't like me. You're just assuming now that they don't like me. Okay, Kyle.
I'm saying if they don't like me, it's only... Wait. Yeah, I guess I am saying that. Whoops. That maybe is how the logic would roll.
That's how I parsed it in my brain. That's how I parsed it. Kurzoro super chatted. Best non-healer MMO support role I've seen is from City of Heroes. Buffers and debuffers were amazing. The Trinity itself was still around, though. I never played City of Heroes.
I did. It was neat. It was really fun making characters. The gameplay wasn't my favorite.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Nice.
I fixed it.
Welcome back to the world of the on video.
Feels great. Feels great to be here.
How's your HOTS install going?
It is. I want to say it's playable. I'm at 94%. So we're almost in.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Aaron super chatted. Great podcast. Excited to meet Endy. Thoroughly enjoyed his point of view and looking forward to marathoning his Final Fantasy 14 stream.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
We got. This was definitely worth your time. We got you one new viewer. I'm so happy.
Fantastic. Well, I think I owe you guys in a sense. Because from what I understand, I uploaded my Shadowbringers videos because people were like, Endy, upload to YouTube. And I'm like, no one cares? Like, I'm not going to do that. And I uploaded the vault with the lovely Horsefan, and that had got like a couple thousand on it, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe people do care. And I think we were both going through Shadowbringers at the same time, so we were uploading Shadowbringers videos around the same period of time. Yeah, and people were like, oh, I know, I know GG, and I'm like, oh, who are GG? And they're like, oh, it's a brilliant duo. Very handsome as well. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Stop.
I'll check him out. You've convinced me. And no, so I think we sort of cross-pollinated accidentally a few months back, which is probably why we've got people who know me here and people that know you over at my place. So it worked out, yeah, in a way, I suppose.
Huh. We had that with the last time Asmongold was playing.
Yeah, briefly there in Heaven's Ward. That was our big crossover.
Nice.
He was, I guess, still in Rome. I think he was just getting the Stormblood.
About to,
around the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reading. Like I applaud any solo streamer for taking on that much reading. Intimidates
so much. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Because I saw you. Did you do the Persona games too, Endy? Did I see that correctly somewhere around?
Yes.
Jesus, that's a lot of reading.
Fortunately, a lot of it is voice acted, but there are segments where there's a lot of reading and words which maybe I'm not great at pronouncing. So there's that extra sort of
at least people are cool about mispronunciations on the internet. Yeah. You know, they always let it go by, and they're very understanding about the fact that you might have a different way of speaking.
Yeah. I'd open that can of worms, but we're about to have some fun. And I think it's best we leave that alone.
Fair enough. Garrett, are you on the EU?
Let me do that. Let me go to Europe, and we'll go there. Kaoru wants to know if we played any White Wolf. If so, what? That's a big no from me. It's a big no from me. I have not played any White Wolf. Kyle?
The tabletop games? I have dabbled, as in I've read extensively in used bookstores because they're always available there. And I don't think that's a point against it. I just think that, you know, it's an older game that got cleaned out during, you know, mom's purge after you left the house kind of business. Oh, no. Oh, I'm glad it made through the podcast.
As am I.
If we're heading into Heroes, we don't need cams. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's fine.
On my stream now, and I didn't mind Elgato, and now my estimations of them are in the dirt.
Yeah,
oh god, it's loading me into the tutorial.
Oh no,
it seems like a bad sign.
I think you can skip it, right? I mean, we might have new player queue, which could be just brutal. But
yep, you can totally skip it.
Okay.
Oh, I get to choose a free hero as a gift. Okay, great. I could have sworn that I picked up a bundle over here at some point. Let's see. Let's look at the. Oh my God! Stop showing me the progression system. Play. All right. Change hero. Hey, I got Vala. That's all that matters.
Hey, nice. There we go.
That's all that matters.
I have
actually might be free hero rotation. But I also picked up Tyrande as my freebie.
Yeah,
so
let me spend some of these gems to get into Zebo.
I have 0. I'm inviting you to party, Kyle.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Let's do it. All right. And then let's add Endy. You sent this over. Here we go.
Yeah, you got my code there somewhere.
There you go. Just sent you a request. My name is Garrett on Battle.net.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried this wasn't you. Gotcha.
Kiyoshi super chat. Love your streams, Endy. It was great listening to your videos while on a long road trip. Question for you all. Are there any side characters you'd love to see brought more into the spotlight or learn more about? They killed all my favorite side characters. I want more Moon Brita.
Oh, sure. I would say the Red Mage Catman. His name's blanking at the moment, but when you're Red Mage, you meet a Catman, and he's fabulous. And he's got a whole story, and he's off to adventure, and I want to know what he got up to.
I'm not into Hoary Boulder the way Kyle is.
I am amused, and I am relationship starved in Final Fantasy XIV, so let me have my moments.
Oh dear. I don't know who I'd pick. Side character.
We're
I'll
all
come
set.
back to you on that.
Let's lock in.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Let's do it. I can't remember the name of the Lalafell from the Scholar Quest line, but I really like him, and I'd love to hang out with him some more. And Kyle, if you want some relationship in your Final Fantasy 14, do the Scholar Quest line. There's an adorable relationship in the Scholar Quest.
Is it as adorable as Gladiator? Gladiator's pretty cute. I got a little bit of satisfaction out of the Gladiator one. They're
I
adorable.
haven't finished Gladiator and don't really remember there being a romance. So
Yeah.
could be wrong. Expanding quick match. It's like who are these non-EU?
Well,
players?
yeah, it's trying to make us that new player queue, but
How do
we'll see how that works. While
How do we place these weirdos?
while my Nazebo dongles.
I think I fixed the camera. I think we're good.
Oh, wait.
Oh, nice.
All right, let me get it. Yeah, there we go.
It
Perfect.
will inevitably die again, but for a brief
Hey, if it
moment
dies
in time,
mid-match, we
we're
won't
all
worry
here.
about it. But I'm glad you're back.
I tell you what, I'm excited for this. I've not played Heroes in a long time.
A spell.
Probably like 2 years, maybe.
Oh, well, not much has changed since. That's 2 years ago.
It's kind of the same.
That's painful. That's painful to hear that. What was the last hero they released?
Deathwing.
Oh wow, that was a while ago, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Was
Oh,
it
that's
Deathwing?
sad.
No,
No,
it was
May.
Hogger.
They had
Hogger.
May and Hogger, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Hogger was amazing design, like one of the cutest ideas that has ever touched MOBA. They had some really cute ideas on their way out, but yeah, that ship did not sail strong into the future.
One of my favorite things about Heroes was always that you could level your hero up and then get that like exclusive skin. Like, hey, you've played this hero to level 10. We're going to give you a really cool skin for them. I loved that.
And
they
got rid of
removed
it. Yeah, Master Skins were
I
dope.
don't get why. It really made me want to play these heroes that had cool skins, because I was like, well, if I enjoy it, I'll get a cool skin at the end. Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of them. I thought it was a really, really smart idea, but Blizzard, they don't often make smart ideas when they should. Oh, here we go, we're in.
Oh my
wow.
God, we got
Look
a
at this
tank and a
comp.
healer? What?
That's a
We
proper
got a comp!
This is bizarre. Wow.
What's happening? Oh, God of Terror
Look
as
at
well.
all the brutal.
Just classic up in here.
I'm loving this.
Jelani Super Chat. Hi, Andy. I'm Things Betwixt from your stream. One of your
Hey.
first streams that I watched, I suggested you come on GG, and here you are. Awesome.
Nice.
Full circle. Full circle.
Hell yes.
I love saying your name because on Twitch it's Fangs Betwixt. And I feel like I'm Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Fangs. I love
Carl.
saying it.
Carl.
That's our
Carl.
server.
Carl. I mean, that's a British man trying to do a southern accent.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a show I used to love.
No, I can't even get into shows that I used to love that I no longer love because it will be very sad.
The long list.
The very long list. Okay, let's have a look here. I've not played in a while. Let's do, so if you're on Vala, we've got an ETC. All right, I will go this comp.
Oh, they have a Diablo for me to farm on too. This is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a bit of a throwdown, but you know, I got hope in our skills.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Go.
Oh, this does feel so good.
All right, there's gonna be a thing now. Every time we have a guest, they have to play a game of Heroes with us afterwards. It's required. You want to come on the podcast? You gotta install Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes.
We're gonna slowly resurrect this game.
One person at a time.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Nice,
Off
nice,
to a
nice.
good start.
It's begun.
Easy.
All right, I'm off to laning. Bye, everybody.
I'm gonna go report to the lane with Diablo in it, because that seems like fun.
We will kill him multiple times.
Let's do it. Oh, and Thrall's down here. Okay. Thrall's a little scary, so I'm just gonna dance until the lane advances.
I'll always be sad that this, well, same with MMOs, right? Like the genre is what it is, and it has been for a long time. But I got all these skills, you know. I don't play shooters. I put all my points in MOBAs.
You mentioned Dota earlier. Were you referring to Dota 1, the mod, or Dota 2?
Both. I played
You
a lot.
played both, right?
Yeah, I played a lot of.
Dude, I have a sickening amount of hours in Dota 2.
Oh shoot, I'm dead.
Nice. What'd you play? What was your main?
Oh, the save from Endy.
I got you, buddy. I got you. Don't worry about me. We're about to kill him, okay? ETC, let's do this thing. Oh, he got rooted, never mind. Oh, here we go. Die, Diablo. Oh, never mind. Just get pulled out. Close enough.
And to win stuff, but that's a long cooldown, so we'll be all right.
Might be down. So what'd you play in your Dota days?
Ember Spirit. A whole lot of Ember Spirit, bit of Invoker.
Okay.
I like going mid. I also quite enjoyed being a rat, going on Nature's Prophet and just sort of creating havoc. I love it.
So much fun. And the trees were so dynamic. Like that was such an aspect of the game, changing the landscape like that.
Like doing a clutch tango and just like being able to juke them behind a tower. And I imagine if anyone listening has never played Dota, hearing use a tango through a tree to clutch a tower must sound very strange. You could eat trees in Dota. It doesn't make sense. Don't ask questions.
Don't worry about it too much, but you could. You could do it.
It's all just insane tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Just don't question it.
Urmarashi said, I'll keep chats going for install time by asking HOTS-related questions. Opinions on Deathwing's current state. I'm very biased as a Deathwing main. We haven't seen any Deathwing in the games that we've been playing, and neither of us play Deathwing, so I can't really speak to it.
It happens a lot in ranked, and I haven't played rank in a good long while.
Yeah, no, we're quick match Andys. We play 1 to 2 games a week, Kyle and me. It's a little off-stream bonding session that we do.
Oh, big throw,
And
big
we're
throw again. Into the Diablo. Come on up here, Garrett.
Win streak.
Yeah.
You don't need me.
You're right, we don't, apparently.
I'll finish that throw, though.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
dealing with murky top, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh, cool. Perfect. I'll clear mid. Yeah, we've definitely talked like, for the sake of like the podcast and news, we should probably play a more up-to-date game.
Up-to-date game.
Yeah.
A game that anyone else plays would be nice. Yeah, I was like, we should play Fortnite so that when we have little off-game stories, people know what we're talking about. But I just love this game.
Yeah.
I just love this game. I hate last hitting. This game doesn't have last hitting.
Yes.
It's good.
It's just nice to be able to sort of turn your brain down a little bit, and just have a bit of mindless fun.
Yep. WTF is this, Anna? This is the greatest MOBA ever made?
Yep.
Not even close. Not even close to being any less than the best.
Just visiting for a stack.
Job.
All right. Amy, thank you for the gifted memberships. That's very kind. Trying to read supers while doing Heroes of the Storm. Literally have never done this before.
No, yeah.
That's interesting.
First time for everything.
Yeah, Suna. Oh god, it's already been 16 months. Damn. Also, we getting HOTS or Rival Wings with Endy in the future? Well, we're getting HOTS with Endy right now!
Well, here we go. On the topic of getting, each other to do different things, Eureka, get on it, boys.
Oh yeah, I've heard
so
you're
good.
a big Eureka fan.
You should get on Bojo, I'm told.
I've done a little bit.
We were told to sell you on Bojo. Well, we've done a little Eureka.
Eureka just reminds me, did you play a lot of Alterac Valley back in Vanilla WoW?
God, yes.
It's that. Like you
I'm not
join
with the
and
group.
you just know everyone that's in there. And it just feels great. Like there's a proper community.
I want to know
Okay.
right now with can someone go over to Twitch? We have our current viewers. Are we the most viewed Heroes of the Storm stream in the world right now? That's what I want to know.
No, there's tons of viewers of the Storm streamers still going every day.
But right now, are we the biggest one? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. We might be up against a fan
I know it's getting more views than Diablo 4 right now, but
brutal. But
no, it's
likely
true. Have you seen that?
True.
That's been a big thing on Twitter lately. Is
It's
people
got like
posting
100
screenshots
Oh my
of
god.
HOTS with more views than D4.
Oh, this is gonna be a good.
It's
This is gonna be a good. Nice.
Oh. Woo. Very
Feels
nice.
good. You're kind of wrecking.
Yeah, it's going okay at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I'm definitely noticing a little bit of input lag, but it doesn't seem to matter. Oh, this Kel'Thuzad missing the chains is really helping. Let's
This is going to kill my productivity.
I mean, we're basically D-bags, right? Because we're essentially Smurfs because we don't play on EU. So we're kind of being D-bags right now.
Keeping the game alive, D-bag mood? No,
Well,
surely not.
I'll come and join you guys in a sec.
Oh, Anduin with the grab there.
I mean, we're 11 to 9.
Yeah, they should be pretty locked out.
Let's body.
Ooh, nice done, nice done.
Good job.
Eh, we got it. Camp's alive. Camp's going.
All right, top lane's nice and pushed.
Yep. Can we get a keep on the first terror?
I
That'd
think
be
so.
great.
I mean, they have 10 suddenly, so be ready for.
Yeah, it's only
the
a one.
business.
We're only one level up. We're about to be 2. We're 2 levels up now. But there's still, yeah, they have heroics online.
Okay, top is...
Yeah, we're totally getting a keep. Holy
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
This is great. All right.
Yeah, that isn't gonna do anything. In fact, did Thrall just get? No, he didn't get hit.
No. If you got stuck in the triangle. Are we just delivering core damage? Is that's a little rich for my blood.
We do have Abathur manning all the lanes, but yeah, here comes a Murky.
Yeah, I've been keeping him pushed. You're good.
All right, there goes ETC. We're out of here.
Time to skedaddle.
Yep. Let's back it up. We got Merc camps we can get. We got top we can clean up. Abathur, you're already on that. Damn.
Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry.
Andy, you were underselling your Abathur play.
Doing
You're like,
well.
I'm
Absolutely.
playing forever.
I genuinely have not. It feels great though.
I mean, I believe you, but I'm like, damn, what were you like when you were practice? Your Abathur is freaking fantastic.
He's like 60 levels higher than any of my other heroes. I just clicked with him so much. Oh
damn, Decker
No,
Kane's
keep
got
leaving me alone.
plans.
Yep.
He's ready
Oh,
to
no.
dominate the map.
They're having to gank my monstrosity.
It's a
How
compliment.
many of you are required to match my power? That wasn't too bad.
Look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power.
That's it. That's it.
There's the Diablo on our half of the map somewhere, getting weird. So they are
we
set
can
up up there.
maybe.
Murky is the only one showing, so yeah, be careful. Well, let's just stay close to ETC because that's who they're gonna pop it on.
Let him face plan anything. I'm scared about that bush.
I'm gonna check this. bush.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna do it.
madman!
That ETC was too tasty. They would have gone for it.
Oh, if only he'd stayed. Could have got the spike. Never mind. Gonna go bottom.
Ah, here they come.
2 levels up.
ETC's gone in.
Oh, I mean, ooh, oh, okay. I mean, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Kel'Thuzad. Oh, I've been knocked out of the.
Nice.
This is gonna be a big cleanup.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go push top.
Yeah, Diablo's gonna come right back, but they'll be down.
All the souls are gone, so
And they got it clear.
farmable. And we're still 2 levels up. We have maintained this 2-level lead basically nonstop since it started. If we can kill Murky, his egg is down.
I think they're all kind of going nuts.
Yeah.
You want to collapse back, Garrett? You got a Thrall coming in behind you.
Okay.
Let's get him.
Yep.
Nice. Good job.
But oh, what? That's a waste of Murlocs. Perfect. We're on their core apparently.
Yeah, they're not dealing with bottom at all. So
His egg must be here somewhere, because
Probably just right in the gate. No, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
he's dead. Oh, he didn't. Okay, I didn't see the exclamation point.
I can work us in, but that's too much work. Might as well just... Oh, Abba's on the core bottom. Let's take their camp.
I'm good, don't worry. If they don't come back, they will pay the price. Okay.
Seed in the bottom. Oh yeah, I think we just... I'll push in mid a little bit for the stacks, but let's go get that seed.
Let's go get banned for smurfing.
They don't have anyone hired to ban you. You're fine.
There's no one working in Mirrors of the Storm.
There's this one guy in the office, and he's like, I don't know why I'm here.
Adam is way too busy with D4.
They did do that. They did do that bug fix. I heard it introduced a lot of new bugs though, so that was...
Oh, did it?
That was a little sad to hear.
Fantastic.
Oh, well, oh, nope, that wasn't it. I don't want to choke versus Diablo.
No. You don't want to get slammed into a wall?
Nah, I'd rather not.
How do you feel about shoulder checks?
A big pass on that one. Oh,
Big pass.
here we go.
Here we go.
There
We got him. Oh. Beautiful play.
That was a nasty stun chain right there.
Oh, into Kel'Thuzad. This is gonna be it. We win.
Yep. Game over. Let's just target core and win.
Oh, ETC, you monster.
We could kill Thrall again, you know.
I mean, if he gives us
We
the
need to
chance.
think bigger.
There we
Very
go.
nice.
Grab something undefeated in the EU, Garrett.
I'm counting that towards our win streak.
You're an EU champion.
That's our 7th win in a row on you on Nazebo and me on Vala.
MVP.
I'm up. Where's Abbott? Oh, Abbott, you didn't make the board. I disagree with
No!
that. That was some phenomenal
Yeah.
Abathur play.
We
This is you know, the life of an Abathur
Phenomenal.
player.
Absolutely
Unthanked.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happens all
Oh, great. Well, that was euphoric.
the time. That's one way to put it.
Thanks for doing that with us, man. That was fun.
Hey, my pleasure. That was great because again, I've not played it in so long, and I love this game. So
Noel wants to know, I wonder if I can record the replay of this match. Well, you can send Noel, you
Yeah,
want the replay file.
yeah.
We can send it to you.
If you
We
want
can
to
send it to you.
throw the clips channel for a loop and post a Heroes video.
You should do. You should. The thumbnail's got to be something with like Final Fantasy 14, but with like from Final Fantasy to HOTS or something like that. Like just Final Fantasy streamers play greatest dead MOBA. Like,
oh, that's so sad.
yeah.
The greatest dead MOBA.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. Oh, Bob, you didn't need the super chat following up to say heavily medicated. Definitely meant streams. Never mind. I meant Kyle and Andy. Sorry, Garrett.
Oh, there we go. There's the truth.
There it is. There it is.
Can't win them all.
Kelly Ahu says Miss Hots left it when Blizzard did. Integrating its multiverse could have fixed all the other franchises and correct all their lore missteps. Ooh, spicy take.
But I don't think it's that spicy because we got the best version of all the characters. We got Happy Jaina. I guess not Happy Sylvanas, you could say, I guess, right? But
We got Sylvanas before they ruined her lore.
Yes. Happy
I
Urel?
disagree. I think the most interesting Jaina has ever been is BFA. That's one of my, like, I'll go to bat for BFA because Jaina's story was really interesting.
you can't, Urel though. 100% Urel is a...
oh
got the
yeah,
best Urel.
she kind of becomes a zealot in Warlords. So yeah, our Urel is better. Also, just like having like really set in stone Diablo characters is fantastic. Although I guess they show up in D4, but I kind of fell off D4. So I love Johanna. So well, Brad. Well,
Yes,
we should probably wind down, Kyle.
probably. We're going to be streaming in 3 hours MSQ.
Yeah.
Thank you to our guest. Everyone
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
This was a total blast, Endy. Thanks for coming by.
Bye, everybody.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
GG, y'all. See you tonight.